Hi, I'm Neil Sackmary.
Hi, I'm State Trooper Sean Hagstrom with the Nevada State Police Highway Patrol Division, PEIO. Please stay tuned for the next episode of Trooper Talk.
And together, we can make a difference.
Another one in our jail.
Yeah.
All right, ready? Ready, Johnny? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we are with this edition of State Police Talk. Now, you might notice that no one's in the middle. We don't have the fireplace because someone didn't hook it up. But we have Trooper Hagstrom and Sergeant Clifton here.
Good morning, Neil. How you doing?
Great to see both of you guys.
Good to see you.
You know, one of the most interesting things, I have a few questions for Sergeant Clifton. You're going to like these ones.
Can't wait.
I was thinking about it last night when I was sleeping.
You're thinking about Trooper Talk in your sleep.
I was.
In his dreams.
Right. He is in my dreams.
All right.
You know, one of the coolest things that people see from the TV, but not a lot of people get an opportunity to watch the full hour or 2 hours of the show, right? So they might see like a clip for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and they might not see the whole thing, right? But, you know, one of the coolest things that I love is what just transpired before we went on the air. And that's like 3 friends just sitting here talking, having a great time, laughing and joking and doing, you know what I mean? Like just being ourselves.
Absolutely.
Right? And so one of the best things about the State Police Talk is that people get an opportunity to see both of you in a different light than they would probably never get an opportunity to see you. And even if they saw both of you without your uniforms and the whole spiel, right, they probably might not ever see that as well because, you know, you can laugh and joke with Sergeant Clifton about certain things that he understands and that are private information as well, but like that you two can laugh and joke about just for a moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so anyway, so here's what I want to start off with. You ready?
Okay. We're ready for it.
Do you own a pair of cowboy boots?
Several.
Do you wear the cowboy boots when you ride the horse?
Yes, I do.
And so
Does he clean the stalls with the cowboy
do you
boots?
clean the stalls with the cowboy boots?
I have different pairs.
Hold on. Yes, Robert.
It's good that eye is twitching. So.
Yes. All right, cool. Thanks. Okay, sorry. Oh, true. Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, one of the reasons I wanted to ask him that,
Yes.
Neil, because you want to have your nice cowboy boots out there cleaning horse stalls.
Well, yes, this is
You,
okay.
you know what I'm saying? And,
right.
and then he's probably got
Right.
some riding boots, but I hope he isn't wearing these like,
Right, so
like
what
jumper
are the
dudes.
what are the cowboy? How high do the cowboy boots come up to?
Okay. So there's 2 distinct different styles of horseback riding. There's English and there's Western.
Yes, right.
So English
English
people
has
are the
the big
ones. English have the boots that go up to here, right? They're all black, and they have the distinction is a saddle with no horn, and a Western saddle has a horn up front, and you can hold on if you need to. You're not supposed to be
Different horns, and they're
Yeah.
made for either roping
For
or
roping,
cutting.
yeah, exactly.
They're different sizes.
Yeah, so we have Western saddles, right? And so I have Western cowboy boots, right? They probably go to about here or so, right? And they keep the mud and the dirt off you, right? But also the thing about
And you put the pants inside the boots?
I usually keep it out, just that way I can keep dust and stuff out of the boots. That's
Right.
what I like. So the reason that I like wearing the cowboy boots, and it's probably actually a thing too, is when you're actually on the horse and in the saddle, right? The saddle rides against your legs, and so the leather of the cowboy boots keeps your legs from getting torn up from the saddle, right? And the boots also have a heel, which I hear. The boots have a heel, right? And that heel you can use to give the horse a command to kick or to give pressure, right? I generally don't wear spurs, so our horses don't need the spurs. They're pretty well trained, but like you can have them on. There's a spot for the spurs in there. So I do have a pair of boots for cleaning. I have 2 pairs of boots for riding. And I have one with a square toe for riding, which is good for a couple saddles we have. And then I have one with a pointy toe, which is better for our saddle that has smaller stirrups on it. So It just depends who I'm riding and what I'm riding, and then
And the stirrups is where you put your feet in, just for the
Yes,
public
yes,
if
yes.
they know about
Right,
horses.
right.
Yep, so.
Do you wear a cowboy hat?
I actually don't own one.
You don't own a cowboy hat.
I prefer baseball hats. This
a
is the way
baseball
I-
hat.
yeah.
So you put the baseball hat on with the cowboy boots.
Well, my wife prefers if I actually wear a helmet because
A helmet.
yeah, I don't really want to get a brain injury, right?
So so you put a helmet on.
So if I'm riding in just our arena at our house, we have a big arena. The helmet is negligible. I'll just put a hat on, right? If I'm riding out of our property,
Yes.
so on a trail, I'll wear a helmet because you're out in the desert and there's rocks and other things, cactuses you don't really want to land on. I have personally, knock on some wood somewhere, never come off the horse
Right.
on a trail. It has happened to my wife before. My wife actually fell off of a horse she was trying and landed and split her helmet in two. So that is a good motivation.
That's
to
why
wear.
she wants you to wear that.
And-
Exactly.
And the full face shield.
No, just a
Just a regular helmet.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a skull cap on a motorcycle, but it's a little bit bigger.
Okay.
So yeah, she was riding out testing a horse that we were thinking about buying, and she ended up, the horse spun on her and kind of bucked her off, and she landed literally head on a rock, and it split the helmet right down the middle. So
Wow,
good
she's
thing,
lucky.
very
Wearing a
lucky.
helmet, yeah.
Good thing she's wearing that. So that's why when we're out, we try and wear the helmets because you don't know what could happen. We were where we ride. We have gone up some desert washes, right? And then those washes, we were riding one time, and I hear a burro, and the burro's making a distinct like yelling noise. They yell at you. And our horses, which are double their size, right? They're just a bunch of chickens, so that's what they are. And they're like, "Gah!" They freak out and they spin, and this burro it's no danger to them.
Because they don't know what,
Right.
you know, they're herd,
Yeah.
they're herd animals.
They are.
So when they hear something threatening, that's why they got such large ears, you know. They panic.
Yeah, they panic and they spin. They're like, "Oh my gosh, what's happening?" Right? And then it takes you off guard. You have no idea what's happening, and it's happened, right? And coyotes will walk in front of us too. That kind of makes them jump. The coyotes are not very afraid of, but
Oh, coyotes.
yeah, there are mountain lions in Nevada. I've never seen one. That's
I've
kind
seen
of
5 of them. in my
that's yeah. I've
25
seen
years.
them, just not on trail rides. Like
Yep,
I know they're out there. I've seen their paw prints. That's for sure. And so they're not going to attack you on a horse, but it would definitely freak the horse out if they saw them.
Right.
It could leave you
and,
behind.
how about
Oh,
do
yeah.
you do the roping?
I do not know.
And when you get on the horse, do you do like the Lone Ranger, like yoo-hoo? Like have you ever done that?
Chew your horse up.
No, I've never done that. I'm a novice rider at best. My wife is the actual professional type rider, right? But I just try and stay on, enjoy my time.
So you get on the horse, and then you're just happy to just
So
cruise around.
yeah, so if we're on a trail ride, it's generally just walking, right? We'll walk up the trail, and enjoy the scenery. Like we'll trailer our horses to the mountains, right? Like we can get to some really nice trails in the Spring Mountain Range.
Not too far from where you live.
Yeah, not far from where I live. A particular one
Oh,
actually.
So you trailer the horse.
Yeah.
Horses are spoiled nowadays.
Oh,
to
yeah.
a certain area.
There's a meme out there of horses where it's like 200 years ago the horse is pulling a carriage, right? And then today it's a truck pulling a trailer with the horse inside laughing, and it's like because now the horse doesn't have to do the work, the truck does the work.
Right.
But yeah, so we'll trailer horses like it's the trail's Bonanza Peak up at past Cold Creek on whatever state route that is. Can't
Oh, I
remember.
see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Off US 95 up by the prison.
Yes, so you pass Cold Creek Road.
Prison.
And you go to the town of Cold Creek, and it's a really nice ride up to this area. You're probably getting to 8,000 feet up there. It gets cool, and this time
They
of year
also
there's
have
snow.
wild horses up there
They
that run
do.
crazy up there.
Mm-hmm.
I've been wanting to go up there. I almost talked my wife into going. We went last weekend to Beatty because we wanted to go see the water, where it flooded in Death Valley.
Okay.
There had 2 feet like a lake
Yeah.
to develop. We get out there, we're a little late. There was a few little ponds out there. We drove all that. My wife just wanted to get out of town, so we just drove.
Right.
And then what was so disappointing, every time we go to Beatty, we always see the wild burros, right? There was no burros to be seen. But at least she got her sugar-free candy at the candy store.
Right, that's
You
all
know
that
what I mean?
matters.
So,
So out on the trail, it's pretty relaxed. At the house, when I'm in the arena,
Yes.
we're trotting, we're loping.
But you're
the horses
training
around.
the horses at
Absolutely,
this
yeah. and you're doing laps in a run.
And
right?
exercising them too, you know, because you
Yeah.
can't have them in a stall all the time because
Yes.
it's
That's
not
the
good
most
for 'em.
important part. Our horses get ridden several times a week just to get the exercise, right? Because it's not only for their body, it's for their brain, right? If they just sit in a stall, they just rot, and that's not good. It destroys their training, destroys their minds. So
And you got to think this, Neil. Barns are for people, actually.
Yeah.
To make it look good and the horses are taken care of. But horses don't need barns.
Nah.
Actually, they do better outside of barns. And maybe like a small lean-to or something is actually better for horses. But like you said, it's good to get out there and get them exercise, get the fresh air, get all their muscles moving because they got a lot of muscles. Even though they're a strong animal, they're very fragile at times too.
Yes.
People don't realize that. They get one little injury in their foot, it turns into like a disease like laminitis. Sometimes, a farrier will cut the hoof a certain way and shave it and prop it up, to ease the pain because they're in such severe pain. And you think they get well, and then all of a sudden overnight it can come back and you have to put the horse down.
Yeah.
That's one of the worst diseases that they've never cured was laminitis in horses.
We lost a horse several years ago for her hoof. If you imagine my fist's her hoof, and her bone comes down like this, and it started doing this, and so the bone was basically pushing
Going
the
through
hoof
the
to the
hoof,
side,
yeah.
and that at that point, it's over. I mean,
And they're such big animals, but on the other hand, and powerful, but they're so fragile too. So
We-
you really gotta
Yeah.
have that kind of.
we had our horses weighed the last time we were at the vet, and our horses averaged between 1150 and 1250. They're big animals, and that's not even big horses.
Yeah.
You start talking about like Clydesdales, you're over a ton. That's a lot of weight on those little spindly legs.
I've had there was a Clydesdale baby in a stall, wash stall, and I laughed because there's like 5 or 6 people with ropes and everything and trying to get him out, and he's just looking at him like, "What do you get, guys?" He's only like a year old. He's probably 2,000 pounds. You know what I mean? He's just looking at everybody like, "What do you want me to do?" He's just standing there. They want him to get out of the stall. There's like 5, and these are big people trying to pull on him. And I said, "You guys aren't gonna get him to leave until he wants to leave." You know what I'm saying? Because they get so enormous. I mean, they are big animals.
And they are stubborn. That is definitely true.
They are. they kind of do what they want to do.
They
You
do.
know. So
Yeah, you're not pushing them around.
yeah.
I will say that you actually don't know this. I don't think I told you either. We just last week acquired a pony as well. So I now
You
have
were
a.
telling me you were thinking about.
Yeah.
That.
Okay, so tell me, what does he look like?
She is mostly black with white socks. So
cool.
she has white feet. She's probably, I don't know, 11 hands. She's not very big. She stands probably
Yeah.
about this tall. So
It's great for kids. You
Is
know,
this
later.
for the kids when they grow up to start learning how to ride?
essentially, yes. So we actually already
Like
have,
you'll train the pony now,
yeah.
and then the kids can go out there and I mean,
And-
they're very young,
yeah.
but at least they can.
And learn to be responsible, learn to take care of the horse. Because like right now, if I wanted our kids, even 3 years from now, when our son is older, like to brush the horse, he'd have to use a ladder because
Right.
horses are tall. So for her, the pony, like they can sit there and actually just do it on the ground where it's safe, not gonna fall off a ladder. And she's probably, I don't know, 400 pounds probably.
And what's nice about ponies is they relax other horses.
Yes.
And they're like goats. If you ever go to like racetracks or other places and they want to calm horses, they'll put goats with them.
Yeah.
And they're such a good combination because the goats actually calm the horses.
Yeah.
So do little Shetland ponies and other ponies. They relax ponies.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, they use ponies during breeding because they excite the mares, believe it or not. I don't know what it is with these little ponies, but these mares get all excited before they actually take them to the stallion, and it's the little ponies that get them all excited.
Yeah.
So, little facts for you, Neil, and all the people
You
out
never
there.
know what you're going to learn in
I
German
mean,
Talk.
hey, we're at police talk here, and then and we're talking about all
But
different
you-
types of horses.
You
but hey,
brought
that's
this all together by saying it brings out the real people, right? And
Right,
he-
Yeah,
but I
that's
want to
it.
know. I want to know about the
Yeah.
pony.
Yeah.
So when did you get it? And like,
we got her about a week and a half ago.
and you're like super excited,
Oh yeah, she's
and you
great.
pick the pony up, or the pony gets brought to you.
Well, we hooked up our trailer and drove to Boulder City where she was, and then we.
And
Put
so
her-
how do you? Let me ask you this: like, how do you make a deal for a pony? Like you know the person like you look online, you
So, yeah.
decide that you and your wife have a conversation and you go, we want to get a pony? Is
There's groups on social media out there, right? There's one that's a Las Vegas horse page, right?
Right.
And my wife actually, we're looking for a pony or a goat, something as like what the kids could take care of. And she put like, hey, looking for a small
okay.
goat,
that
pony,
that they
whatever.
can take care of.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so she put that out there, and actually someone we knew had a pony that she didn't really have time for. So my wife and her worked out their arrangement,
Right.
and that's we knew her from a boarding facility we used to be at before we purchased a house with barn. So, yeah.
Is
And
there
so
a
you-
4-H? Is there a 4-H thing in your area? You know
There-
about 4-H, where the kids get to groom and take care of the animals as they go up, and
I used
then
to
they
watch
show 'em?
Lassie.
Okay.
So there is a 4-H club. I'm not familiar with it.
Well, I
but-
didn't know if your kids might get involved with that.
I mean, maybe. I think it's at one of the high schools. I want to say maybe Arborview does 4-H. I know that because I was at the Tractors Play in Centennial, and they had fundraiser for the 4-H club. And I was like,
Oh,
well, I
okay.
don't know
So
which
they
one
do
this
have it.
is, but there is definitely one in town. I don't know which. I think it's at a high school. I'm not sure which school it's at, but there is one. Arborview would seem reasonable since where it is, but yeah.
So you pick up the pony, you drive to Boulder City, you pick up the pony, you like the pony.
Yeah.
And then you bring the pony to your house. And you already have a prearranged stall?
Yep.
Okay. And so then do the kids go with you?
Yeah, do it with us.
And so they get excited too because now it's like their pony and all this type of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so then you get the pony and you get it you put it in the stall, and then that's it for the night. Like,
Well-
thank you very much. You're now at your new home, and we're going into the house.
Yeah, so what we actually had is when we got back, our horses were all out in the arena. So we turn them out every day so they can run and be herd animals, like you was talking about. And they kick and bite and chase each other. It's what they do.
Right.
So when we got back, every time the trailer comes out, they get excited and they run laps and they throw bucks and this is what they do because they think, oh, the trailer is here, something's happening. What are we doing?
Right.
All right. And so we open the doors and she comes popping out. And so we have 4 boys, right? 4 boy horses, geldings. And they all go, because they see a girl and they're like, oh, what are we going to do? They get
Easy,
it-
guys. This is just
Right.
a pony.
Right.
This is just a pony. You
yeah,
know?
but it doesn't matter. They see a girl and they're like, oh, and they get all. It's funny because they trot around. They get all. They stand
want
tall
to
and-
win her love. You know.
they do. They stand tall, and so the horse that is next to her in the barn, of course, is the one that she's going to be friends with, right? So she's already established that relationship, but. Yeah, they were all excited to see
And
her.
you let the pony in with the
we did
arena?
not. We did not at first because we wanted them to like kind of calm down.
Okay.
So we put her in her stall, then we put the horses in their stalls, and they kind of worked out overnight. The next day, she got to go out with them, and so it's
Awesome.
Well, I can keep going on about this, but Johnny will kill me. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
Johnny's
this-
asleep
This,
over
this
there.
is going to be 3 hours long.
Johnny's shaking his head. like,
But here's the thing, okay? Let's end this segment with something that's really important, okay?
Sure.
Number one, you're teaching your kids responsibility, okay? Which is something that is very, very important. That we hope that not only all parents do, but it's something that parole and probation does. It doesn't matter how old someone is. They could be 50 years old. Sometimes they still need a parent to tell them what it is that they can and can't do so that they don't end up back into jail. I forget what news article I saw the other day, but I was reading, and it said that somebody got probation for something, whatever they got, and it was like 2 years probation. And if they don't follow the probation, then they have to serve 2 to 5 years in prison because they violated their probation, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that we learned, which was, about wellness and all that type of stuff, right? And this is something that we can laugh and joke about, but this provides you wellness that helps you do your job and all that type of stuff. And we've talked about before how you make your own schedule, you do the days that you want, and so that's one of the things that working for parole and probation that you can do and other officers can do if somebody wants to join. And then the second thing we learned is, like, you went somewhere with your wife, right? Like, you drove somewhere and all this type of stuff, but that's the wellness.
Absolutely.
Right. That's the part where, you know, you're getting phone calls at 2:00 in the morning because of a fatal accident, or, you know, something that happened, a rollover, you know, somebody, a DUI. I mean, like, all these type of things. And so you need wellness too.
Sure.
And so one of the things that the Nevada State Police provides is the fact of this camaraderie between people that work for Nevada State Police, which is wonderful. And secondarily, you know, like, that you guys are able to do your job. And, you know, when it comes to your job, different from Sergeant Clifton's, you know, not only you have to be available for the media and all these type of things when things happen, but you're out there pulling people over. I mean, you know what I mean? Like you're also doing the state police job of when you're driving your car and people are driving reckless or whatever, that you're also doing that job. And so there's like 4 or 5 different jobs that you do on top of what you do. And so anyway, you know, you guys talk about that, and then we'll go to some pictures.
Yeah, you know, that's one thing about being a state trooper. You know, you might have all these different duties, and like I tell a lot of people that we're like a medic, we're a counselor. You know, I kind of live by my phones right now because of the job I do, because I get phone calls nonstop. Early in the morning when I get up, I'm answering calls for different crashes and stuff. And even when I went to Beatty, I had to sit in the parking lot for over an hour because we had something come about, you know what I mean? And I had to take care of business, and I had to call some official people to make sure that it sounded good before I put out some media releases and some other stuff. But yeah, you just got to make yourself available, and the reason we do it is because we love this career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is 2 of the biggest divisions in the Nevada State Police, the Nevada Highway Patrol and Parole and Probation. So, but there's so many things that people can do and transfer into, because we're not the only ones. We have Capitol Police. We had the State Fire Marshal and his dog last week,
Right.
and we have the Governor's Detail, and there's within each agency there's specialty groups. Like, he's with the sex offender unit. You know, I've already done canine, motors. You know, that's the motorcycles, and Governor's Detail. But there's other, you know, we got our MATE team. There are investigators, detectives to do all that stuff. And even the Division of Investigation, which is under Nevada State Police, they have different jobs. Like, they might have to do robberies that occurred like in Elko or Ely or something. Or if they get called for a murder or something, or a shooting somewhere, they have special detectives that go out there and investigate. And like we've always told people, Neil, before, if they kind of get stagnant in the job, let's say they were a state trooper for 7 years, and they want to go to parole and probation or try something different, you are able to lateral into those jobs once those openings come up. You just put in for it, and also being able to move. What we talked about last week. Let's say your wife doesn't want the heat anymore here in Vegas. She wants to go up to Reno. If there's a transfer to go up there, that's one of the great things about being with Nevada State Police. They'll move you where you want to be with your family. If you want to be out in the rural areas, we're always looking for people in the rurals too. If you live in the rurals and you want to stay there, we're going to work with you and make sure that you become a trooper or a parole and probation officer in your area and stay there, because we want people to actually want to live there and be within their community.
Yeah.
We actually have an officer just yesterday, was his last day with us, because he's transferring to us in Reno. His start date is Monday in the Reno office. And you're going to appreciate this. He's moving up there. He has not bought a house yet. Okay, he hasn't even rented a house. He's going to stay in the dorms, which is interesting.
Oh boy.
But we can provide him that opportunity, because we have the ability up in our Northern Command, right? We can give him somewhere
Well,
to
that'll buy
live.
him time to get something that he actually
Exactly.
really wants. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Instead of just rushing into something and then
Yeah,
buying.
so he's going to keep looking for a house. He's able to stay on state property in a state facility. And when he eventually gets his housing situation squared away, his family's going to move up to Reno, where he'll be stationed. It's a pretty good opportunity. It's there. And I wanted to wrap it up and say that despite the completely different missions of our two divisions, because it's nowhere even close to what we have one common goal, and we use it in our mission statement, but it's to safeguard Nevada, right? That is what we do, because the two of us, and in general the entire department, cares about where we live, right? We care about the citizens and the visitors in Nevada, right? And it's our job to keep people safe, whether it be from repeat criminals or egregious speeders or DUIs. Like that's our job, and we take it seriously. And I mean, somewhat unfortunately, but also good for us, he has to answer the phone at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's the path he's chosen. I don't want that path, but but I mean, the fact of the matter is, like, we even sometimes get called at 2 o'clock in the morning. It does happen.
Absolutely.
And
one thing I want to add too is, even though we're in different divisions, the state supplies us with our vehicles. So if you're ever looking at being a state trooper or parole probation officer, you hit on from your driveway and you hit off work at your driveway, which makes it nice. And they supply the vehicle. It gets set up. You get to set it up the way you want, other than where the gun racks and where the radios and all that. But you can pretty much, it's your own office. A lot of departments don't, other metropolitan departments or smaller departments, you have to buy your gun belt and your gun and everything else. We supply all that, even the uniforms, down to the uniforms. So what would cost you probably $2,500 to $3,000, we're giving that to you. And a lot of departments don't do that. So these are some of the extra advantages when you come to these departments. So if you're ever thinking about coming to parole and probation or Nevada State Police, go to nevadastatepolice.com. We'd love to have you come out, and if you want to do a ride-along, or we have a lot of administrative jobs too, whether it's NHP dispatch, or we have different administrative, like arrest desk where we work. They have different administrative jobs where for parole and probation, and they're always hiring. So if you always wanted to be in law enforcement but not carry a gun and not be an actual officer and want to work in the field, we're always hiring too. So we're looking for those people too. So nevadastatepolice.com, look in there for the careers, and we'd be excited to take you along.
Yeah, and we know that from the parole and probation side. Like, you've talked about that so many times, that, like, those administrative people that work for the parole and probation, especially in your department, they're doing all the work. And then the sworn officers, they're doing all the work, but in a different capacity. So at least the back end is being done, so when the officer gets the information, they can sort of do their job. And so it's really wonderful, and that's why we need sworn and non-sworn officers.
Yeah, the non-sworn is very impactful with what we do. We couldn't do it without them. You know what I mean?
We really could not. And it's really, you're looking at a complete life cycle here. So he goes and makes the initial stop, makes the arrest. They get processed by the court. They come out and they see us. What you're not seeing in the interim is all the civilians, the non-sworns that are involved in the middle, right? Obviously, the courts are their deal, right? But from arrest to probation and then finishing probation and being done, there's way more civilians involved than there ever are officers. And those positions all exist within Nevada State Police, and we're always hiring for them. There's certain ones that require very little experience, other ones that require college degrees, right?
But they'll train you.
They will.
When you get here, they'll
train
train you to do the job.
We will train you to do the
and
job.
they'll pay you while you're getting trained.
And you can work your way up through the ranks as well. You can start literally as a clerical trainee and go all the way. You can go all the way to officer if you want. We have several officers in our division who have worked their way through the ranks from admin assistant to specialist to officer. And actually, we have the academy started Tuesday of this week.
We're going to go over that today.
The academy started Tuesday.
Actually yesterday.
Yesterday, okay, yes.
Yeah,
and
yesterday.
one of the cadets is a former PNP civilian who was a PSI specialist, and now he is doing push-ups probably as we speak. So
Nice. I like it.
To be a sworn officer.
Correct.
Right.
So he has worked his way through the ranks. He's earned some time in PERS, and now he's going to be an officer with PNP.
And what's great about that, Neil, is that he learns the paperwork ahead of time.
Yes.
He's already dealt with it because he's been doing it for a while. And when he actually goes through the academy, it's going to be so much easier. But then when he gets done, He's already a foot ahead of everybody. Even the FTOs and everything, he already knows how all the paperwork works because he's already been on the civilian side. He knows what has to be done and what they're looking for. So he's got a step ahead of everybody.
And is he going back to parole and probation?
Yes. I honestly think, like, it's my opinion, he'll probably make a good PO because he does have that strong paperwork background. Because we do a lot of reports. A lot of our job is typing and sending things to the court, right? Saying, hey, this is what happened. They write arrest reports. We write violation reports. They're essentially the same thing. They both go to a judge. It's just different circumstances, right? So he's going to be pretty good probably because he already knows how to write. That's important.
That's excellent.
That's very exciting.
Yeah.
All right. What did you think of that first part, huh? That was pretty interesting. Not
Very interesting. You really threw us
nobody
off.
nobody knows that Sergeant Clifton has 3 pair of cowboy boots.
That's right.
Right?
do,
You know what I'm
yes.
saying?
And 4 horses and a pony.
4 horses and a pony.
4.5 horses.
Right, 4 and a horse. That's gonna be the next thing with your car. 4.5 horses and the pony.
There we go. Well, Neil,
Our
this,
weekly report.
absolutely.
Let's see what we got.
And this was from the 12th through the 18th. So this is just January 12th
So
through
about a
January 18th, about six days. This is everything that they were able to get 2 arrests. DUI arrests. They got 351 speeders in 6 days.
That's a lot.
That's great.
That's a lot.
Because you know what? Have you been driving out there lately?
no.
It is really slowed down on the
I
215.
will
It's
agree with
amazing.
that.
People are starting to do the speed limit again. I mean, I couldn't even find any speeders when I'm driving, and you know what? They don't see me until it's too late. But you know what? It shows that this is actually working. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And not only that, we had our joining forces too. You know, it's paid by the Office of Traffic Safety for Nevada, and they have officers on their days off. They get grant money to go out on, for this month, from January 13th through the 31st, is for speed. So add this Southern Nevada Task Force and them on top of it,
Yes.
and look at what you're getting. And just in 6 days, they got 351 speeders. I always look at the red light violations. I don't know if that's 66 or 6, but that's a big one because we got so many red light runners out here that we
Right.
have to really stop.
Right.
And matter of fact, I'm surprised to see that they got 2 search warrants. I don't know what they're for. I can't really comment on them.
Maybe the DUIs.
But they could be. The search warrants might have been somebody that refused. And people got to understand, if you refuse to do a blood draw, all they have to do is call an on-duty judge. Takes like 5 minutes. They get a report, and they give you a warrant for your blood, and they're going to get it anyways.
They will hold you
and
down.
and not only that, you lose your license.
Right.
So it's better just to comply. If you give blood, you're going to get your license back. Doesn't mean down the road when you go to court, the judge could still suspend it or something like that. But you're right. That's probably what the search warrants are for. Is a couple people denied to do the blood test. They're going to get it. I hate to tell you.
Right.
All they have to do is get an on-duty judge, and it takes like 5 minutes, and they get a warrant, and they take it that way. They actually towed 5 vehicles. So I'm sure those, at least 2 of those were for the DUI arrest. But the other 3 might have been for people who haven't registered vehicles in 2 or 3 years. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
or other issues. You know what I mean? So that becomes a big problem. You know what I mean? You think you're going to just be driving around all the time and you don't have insurance and your car hasn't been registered for 3 years. What do you think is going to happen? You think the officer's going to say, okay, you don't have insurance. We're going to let you go down the road, and then you end up getting in a wreck. Who do you think's responsible? Because we let you go, right? We're not going to let that happen. So, of course, you're going to get your car towed.
Now, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
So I see the registration violation 41, right? And it's been a big thing on the news in the last little bit. About,
Yes.
Oh, everyone has these expired registrations.
Yes.
So what happens to someone if they get pulled over with an expired registration?
With the expired registration?
Or so the temp tag.
Well,
right?
you
That's
know,
the
it
big
used to
thing.
be a misdemeanor offense, and now
Yes.
they're infractions.
Yes.
So, of course, you're going to get a citation for it, you know, for that. And then on top of it, the DMV is going to throw a penalty for late fees. And people got to realize that once you get stopped and you haven't registered a vehicle for, you know, several months or 6 months, you're going to get tacked a fee on top of that for late fees. And it's just going to cost you more money. So just get it done. The ones I was talking about, the 2 or 3 years and then not have insurance, that's extreme conditions. I mean, but there are quite a few people that let their registrations lapse,
Uh-huh.
and you're gonna.
And the insurance and the insurance.
Well, the insurance is a big one.
That's a tow. That could be a tow.
It could be a tow. I don't know if they're doing it at this time because of the availability of tows and officers and
No,
whatever.
of course, right.
But back in my day, going back a while, if you didn't have insurance, your vehicle got towed because it was just, it was too risky. Because you got to understand, there's a liability there. We let you go, and then you get in a crash, you kill somebody down the road, and you didn't have insurance. You understand what I'm saying? It becomes a litigation issue, right? Not only for us, but for you and the people you hit. And you don't have insurance. How are they supposed to get everything paid? That now they have to go off their insurance. Their insurance raises because you neglected to get insurance or whatever. And we got a lot of people that drive here in the valley that don't have insurance.
Yes.
Or they haven't registered their vehicles for quite a while. So what I'm trying to tell people is get out there, register your vehicles, make sure you're valid, make sure you always keep up in your insurance. A lot of times if your insurance drops and you're still registered, they're going to suspend your registration.
Yep.
And that's what will get you towed. Because if you have a suspended or revoked registration, guess what? You can't even be driving the vehicle because the DMV revoked it because you don't have insurance.
Yep.
So these are just different factors that come about.
And so, this Southern Nevada Task Force is so important, okay? We need to get these people to realize that if you want to go out and play around, don't do it here. They make the joke, we talked about it one time about the people in Georgia, the police.
The state
right?
troopers out there, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't care if you are on a two-wheel motorcycle. They will hit the back tire and you will flip. And they did it live last week on the TV. The guy had the motorcycle. He hit the back tire. They go boom right in the air. You don't run in Georgia, right?
That's true.
Like you don't like they had the chief on there for Arkansas, and it's the same thing. If you run in Arkansas at 140 miles an hour, they will pit you and you will slam into the median or snap a telephone pole or go into a ditch. They don't care. You run, they pit you. Like it's like and every time they go on the TV on the show that I watch and they go, you don't run in Clayton, Georgia, or you go into a telephone pole. Like this is what they do.
Well, seriously, and you know what really happened after COVID? I think everybody just lost their minds.
Yeah.
It's gotten so bad. And you know how California is, it's huge and they got a lot of issues, and I'm not here to talk about, talk for California, but I will say this. They've made changes. Now they just passed a law throughout the state of California. If you're doing over 100 miles an hour reckless, you're not only do you get a reckless driving ticket and all this other stuff, but they forward your license to the DMV, and it gets suspended. And it's like 60 or 90 days, and they're not playing games anymore. And this is happening right now in California. And they are tired of these 100-mile-per-hour drivers out there, and this is what their legislature and the DMV and CHP all got together and said, we're putting a stop to this. You get caught over 100 miles an hour, we're sending your license to the DMV, and you're getting suspended. Every single one, over 100 miles an hour. That's going to change a lot of attitudes, I think, down the road. Because unless you can afford to drive without a license or, there's going to be people that do that, but guess what? You get caught, guess what happens? Your car's getting towed and you're going to jail, right? So
and this is what happens, and what people have to understand, and then they end up with Sergeant Clifton. Maybe not in the sex offender unit,
sure, but on probation.
But here's the thing, I'm sure that there have been people. I'm not sure, but I can only assume, right, that there have been people that are from another state that don't register and they get pulled over for a mediocre ticket of going speeding or drinking in public or whatever, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're from Minnesota or Maine or Vermont or whatever state you want, and you live where now? And
you haven't registered?
and you didn't talk to us, right?
Yeah.
for people that are involved in, I don't want to say the industry of what it is that you track, but the persona, whatever the word is, right? They have to register. Not all, but whatever it is that they're stipulated to.
Yeah.
And so when Trooper Hagstrom pulls someone over and they are not in the corresponding registration or however it works, I don't know what happens when you pull somebody over, but I'm just saying that, you know, like all of a sudden now you get a phone call. And so people have to know that in the state of Nevada that they take all these things very seriously. And so if you don't abide by laws, there can be very serious consequences. And so this is something that you have to deal with all the time.
Yeah, so if you're on, well, I should back up. If you're a 2 or more time felon, you are required to register with the state of Nevada. So if you're a 2-time or more felon in the state of Nevada, you have to register with the state. And that's going down to the county sheriff and saying, I'm a 2-time felon, I live here. And that doesn't matter if you're on probation, parole, whether it was 20 years ago or 50 years ago or 2 days ago, you got to register, right?
And if not, then what? They go straight to you for parole and probation?
No. So that's for someone who's not on parole or probation, right? So that we can easily get a misdemeanor arrest and take them to jail for that. Metro does that occasionally. So if you are on probation or parole, you have to check in with us, obviously. If you're out of compliance with us, I will cut a piece of paper and you have a warrant within a few hours in some cases. That's pretty simple. In addition to that, if you're a sex offender who comes and sees me, you have to also register with the sex offender registry, and that is at a prescribed time frame depending on what tier you are, what your conviction is, things like that. It's kind of complicated, but the majority of sex offenders have to register at least yearly.
And what they just tell people, they just tell you where they live. And
yeah, and they have residency restrictions, things like that they have to abide by. And if they're not abiding by those, if they're on probation, then we will enforce it. If they're not on probation, and we do a compliance check, because we have lifetime supervision as well. If we do our compliance check for lifetime and they're violating those conditions, we can also arrest them for that on a new violation of lifetime. And as we go to our next slide, which you're going to see there, I'll explain that because it was a violation of lifetime supervision. The one after this one. This one. We'll start here. So this is Claude Epperson. He was arrested by the state police and the U.S. Marshals, actually, up in, I believe it was Sacramento. He was arrested, and we put this poster out a while back because we wanted him because he had a violation of lifetime supervision. He is not on active.
What does that mean, lifetime supervision?
So he's not on active parole or probation. This is the third thing that we do. It's not in our name. So sex offenders who are sentenced to certain crimes have to comply with called lifetime supervision. That is literally lifetime that they are registering and they have residency restrictions, and we enforce that. So we have.
So he has to tell you where he lives.
Yes.
And all that.
Yes. And we verify that. We verify that the residence is in compliance with his tier level as prescribed by the sex offender registry. And if you fail to abide by the certain conditions of lifetime supervision, then we issue a warrant for violation of major condition of lifetime supervision. And that warrant, in this case, was extraditable from Sacramento. So the U.S. Marshals Task Force actually caught him. And then we then went and got him. Our Reno office went and got him from Sacramento, drove him back. And then he was subsequently convicted of another felony. Now he's back on probation for violating lifetime supervision in our Reno office.
And so without getting into so much specifics, so a person then has so explain so here's my question. Sort of like, if a person is on lifetime supervision, right, so they have to do these certain things, right, they then go to court, get convicted of this new crime, sort of, and then they go on parole. They go on probation. But they could go back to. They could have to serve time if they violated the probation.
Yes, I didn't do a good job describing it to you. So what happens is if you're sentenced to a crime, so I don't know what he was sentenced to, but let's say it was
crime X.
lewdness with the minor under the age of 14. And so if you're convicted of lewdness with a minor at 14, you will serve either your prison time and come out on parole, or you will do probation time depending on what you're sentenced to. Once you complete those terms of supervision, then you go to lifetime supervision. So
So you've completed all
yes,
this.
So you complete all that.
Now you just have to do this. Not to
Then,
say it's
yes.
a small thing, but you have to do
Yeah.
lifetime supervision.
There's less requirements
Right.
of lifetime supervision, but you're still effectively on supervision with us for a lifetime. And if you violate a condition of lifetime, then we're going to file charges on you for violating a condition of lifetime, which is what this was. And so we filed charges. We got our warrant, and then made our warrant extraditable, and then we went to get him because he's still ours for a lifetime. And because we got that warrant for a new crime, he was convicted of said new crime and put back on probation.
Back on probation.
So
And so, these type of things are real. You know what I mean? And so I like the way you said that, like, he was done with all of this. Like, whatever it is that he did, he sort of served that end of things. So the only thing he had left to do, which is a sort of smaller thing, but people feel that they're going to get away from you.
yeah, so I'll say this: the legislature has told us as an agency we want to watch our sex offenders, our most serious sex offenders, forever, basically, which is why it's lifetime. So despite the fact that you have completed your term of punishment, for lack of better terms, that's probation, parole, and all that, you're still supervised because, and we're not doing the same level of supervision, right? But you're still required to check in, and you're still subject to community notifications. So if you're a tier 3 sex offender, for example, which is the worst of the worst, right? You're on the registry forever. Your picture is on a website forever. Your address, your vehicle is on our registry forever. So it doesn't even. There are ways to get off of lifetime supervision. Even if you're off lifetime, you're still on the registry forever because you are still a convicted sex offender. So, and you're still required to register. And even if you're off of lifetime and you fail to register, we can still go knock on your door and verify your address. And if you're not there, Susie, the new resident, says, "Oh, they don't live here." Guess what? Charges. And we can press charges on you because we're one of the agencies tasked with enforcing registration laws as well. So for sex offenders, we take it very seriously because the legislature has told us to take it seriously. So we do. And those are, obviously the sex offenders are one of the greatest risks to the community we have, right? Our children are our precious assets.
Right.
And it's not just crimes against children, don't get me wrong, there's crimes against adults as well. Like sexual assault of an adult will carry lifetime supervision. So, sexual assault in general is a very personal crime. Sex crimes are very personal and it scars people for life. We talk to victims.
Absolutely.
We talk to victims and it could be 30 years ago and they're still distraught.
Traumatized.
Absolutely traumatized, right? Yeah. And that's why we take it so seriously. And in this case, when we have someone who violated the condition, we're going to get you and we're going to try and get you reconvicted.
And this is one of the things that Nevada State Police not only does, but, it's the same thing as when somebody's driving at 120 miles an hour or they're driving impaired, right? One of the things that people need to understand when it comes to the driving of impaired is that marijuana and alcohol, we learned probably 80 episodes ago. How many episodes have you been on now? Pretty close to 100, I think, right? We learned about, I forget who we had on, like Trooper Slater or Sergeant Donaldson or one of these guys, and they talked to us all about the poly drugs,
Oh yeah.
right? And the doing the both drugs. But, you know, people that smoke marijuana, which is one of the problems that we have here in Las Vegas, where they think that it's like, you know, one of these vans that they want to have billowing smoke coming out of the windows.
The Cheech
You
and
know,
Chong effect.
right. That, you know, the thing is that this is not tolerated. You know, one of the things that Sergeant Clifton just, you know, really made very firm is that, like, these things are not tolerated. Some things we can laugh and we can joke about and all this type of stuff, but this type of thing is not laughing and joking. The days of laughing and joking are now over, and that's the end of it. And when you drive and you pull someone over for whatever the infraction is, we can laugh and we can joke and we can do all these type of things, right? But it's a serious matter. You know, I mean, besides the fact that, you know, on our roadways, it was in the news, without going into specifics. You know, we had a trooper that something happened, and he had to go to the hospital. And so, years ago, we lost Trooper May. Then, you know, and then we lost two more. You know what I mean? Sergeant Abate, Trooper Felix. I mean, they are not on the planet anymore because people do things that they're not supposed to be doing. And the Nevada State Police takes these things very seriously because they not only don't want another trooper to be hurt, but they don't want the general public to be hurt.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so when you drive your car and you're pulling these people over, it's not because you have nothing better in your life to do. You don't have enough time in your day to accomplish the things that you need to accomplish. But there's some form of activity. I was going to say reckless activity, but
It is
you know,
reckless.
there's some form of activity where someone needs to have a conversation. And so when it comes to the marijuana, when it comes to the alcohol, the prescription drugs, the illegal drugs, you know, I mean, these things are not tolerated. And when you drive, that's something that people have to know not to play around in Nevada.
Absolutely. And you know, marijuana is no different than being intoxicated with alcohol. And it has the same effects where it reduces your responses. Your reaction times are all off. You might think that you're fine, but you're not. A lot of people that are on marijuana drive faster than normal because the realization is not there. They've lost what's actually going on with their motor skills and everything else. And then when they try to stop or do anything, just like somebody that's intoxicated with alcohol, it's all off. So buzz driving is drunk driving, right? It's the same. And we'll take you to jail just as fast as we would anybody else that's, whether they're using alcohol and polydrug use. And when we talk about polydrug use, that's people using Xanax or Oxycontin, you know, like pain pills, and they're mixing it with alcohol. Or they're gone to the parties where they just grab a handful of, they don't even know what they're putting in their system, and they're mixing with alcohol, and then they want to get behind the wheel. And the big thing is, if you want to do that stuff, we're not telling you not to do that. We're just telling you not to get behind the wheel. If you want to go out there and do that, you do it at somebody's house or your house and stay there. Don't get behind the wheel, because now you're putting not only your life on the line, but you're putting innocent people's lives on the line. And that's why we're out there on the roads every day. When we see somebody that's reckless and Neil, you don't know how many people we just get that are intoxicated that are just speeding. They might not be all over the road that you see, but I've had people that drive perfectly straight and their high speed's 20 over the speed limit and they're intoxicated. They're a DUI and they're going to jail. You know what I mean? And a lot of people think, oh, I can pass the walk and turn test. I can do all this stuff. It doesn't matter, because when we check your eyes and you're a .10 and above,
Yeah, they always do that. The
You got-
thing with the pen and
Yep,
the
you
light
got
and
that,
the
your
spiel.
HDN, your eyes are automatic.
And the people go like this, and they go, follow the pen, and the person goes like this, and they go.
Yep. And you'll see their
one
eyes.
more,
their
one
eyes
more
will-
time I'm
Yep.
giving you, or that's the end of it.
Yep, yep. And their eyes, their automatic twitch.
They never lie.
You know, and that's true. Never lie, the eye, right? So, you know, there's people that we've talked to, you know, that are in the entertainment world, right? And they drink and they have their customers are with them all the time. And they can walk a perfect straight line. But what gets them is their eyes every time. You know what I mean? And you know, the alcohol on their breath. There's other things that we look for.
Of
You
course,
know,
of
bloodshot
course.
eyes, all the stuff that we do the report, and we can tell that, you know, just by their speech too. You know, they might have a steady gait. You know, they might not be all over the place, but it's always the eyes, you know, the speech, the alcohol on the breath. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so many different factors. We just don't get you on one or two things. That's why we have you do several tests. If you're unable to do it for physical means, we write that down, what you had or whatever, and we'll give you a different test because that's what we do. We're here to accommodate. You know, we're trying to help you out.
And they are scientific tests.
Yeah.
And
that are proven.
They're
by
proven.
Tens
They're
of
absolutely
thousands of have been
And
using
I
it
will,
for 40 years.
I will
so.
say it's not best out of 3. If you fail one, you're done.
Yeah.
Right? And you can fail one portion of a test. Just like he's saying the HGN, you can fail one portion of that and you fail that test. You can, what are there, six steps to HGN?
So yeah, yep.
Six
Six
steps to
clues
HGN, right?
they look for.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and if you have
Yep.
one clue, it's fascinating really to watch. You can see the videos of eyes just
And then they got the Romberg test, you know,
Yep.
where they'll check for drugs, and then
Yes.
they'll bring it in and bring it closer in, and you'll watch the eyes dart in, and they can tell you if you're on you know, like speed, something that speeds up your system, or if it's what's the other one, or lower. You know, they could tell that it's not
Depressants.
alcohol. You know, yeah, like depressants or something that you're using drugs. So they have different studied tests that have been around for a long time. And a lot of times, if somebody has a little, let's say they know that they're on something, sometimes they'll call somebody that's an expert for us that have gone to a bunch of other schools. They're called DREs, drug recognition expert. And they'll come out and give them extra tests. And they'll tell you, yes, this is what, and they'll write a whole different report on that.
yes.
So we have different ways of going around it, you know what I mean? And if it's your first test, like for alcohol, you can do the breath test. If you had one before, second or third, we get to choose. But a lot of times we give you a choice. You can do blood or breath when you get to the jail, and it's your choice. You know what I mean, on the first time. So I always tell people I give them both scenarios on both sides, and I think the best bet if I was unfortunately to get popped for DOI, I would go with blood. I'm not. The only reason why is because you get to keep your license with you until you go to court when you give blood, because you're pending results. They don't have the results right away. If you give that breath,
That's it.
then you blow over. Yeah. They take your license and you get a piece of paper until you go to court just to drive. They are check your license. You know what I mean? So I mean, there's different ways of going about, but we tell everybody, we explain everything. We read it right off the paper. We explain everything. We're very cordial on how we do it. We make sure that you understand, and we'll give you that choice. You know, you want to do breath or you want to do blood. You know what I mean?
Now,
We don't force anybody.
Do you carry a little card with you for the thing? Do you read it?
I do got a card in there.
And you read it right off the card.
Yep, we read it right off the card.
Because I see some agencies they do that.
Yep.
When they arrest somebody, some agencies they don't.
Yep.
But the thing is,
It's called implied consent. We got an implied consent. I got an implied consent card for them to either do blood or breath, and I'll read that right off the card.
right off the card.
Yep. If I make an arrest on somebody, I'll read them their rights, and I'll read
Right
it
off
from
the
the card.
From the card, yeah.
Because if I go before a jury or a judge, I can say yes, and it's all on camera. We all carry cameras. We're mandated by state legislature. They have a camera on us. With the Highway Patrol, we have 3 cameras.
Yeah.
Well, actually, one will be on you if you're in the back of our car, right? But we have one on us that's recording everything that we do, that you can watch and do all the tests. The judge gets to see everything that we do, the defense attorneys, everybody, and our prosecutors. And then we have a car camera. So that car camera picks up, if you're doing the walk, it gets the whole scene too, which is great.
And that's
that
why,
protects us and it protects them. You know what I mean? Protects both sides.
Right, and I was just going to say that's why when they on the show that I watched, that after they pull someone out from the car, they always say, "Please stand in front of my bumper."
Correct.
right? So that like everything is on all of these cameras, so that someone can't come back and say, you know, these type of bad things happened.
Yeah, nothing's hidden.
You know what I'm
We've
saying?
had that in the past where people have said, oh, one of our troopers, I hate to say this, like raped me or whatever, yeah, or did physical. And then, of course, you know, OPR and our department to protect themselves in the state, of course they're going to grab all that camera footage.
Right.
And then they pull that person in. They said, you sure this is what really happened or whatever, the accusations that you made? Because everything's on camera. Yes. And like I said, that third camera, there's a camera on you in the back seat of the car. When we actually put the seatbelt on you and everything, there's a camera watching everything that you do. You want to kick the windows out or get all crazy, that goes to the judge too.
Yep.
So that's the other camera angle. But what's nice is I like the cameras on ourselves because it hears everything that I tell you.
Yes.
It shows everything that I see, whether it's the eyes or the walk and turn. And what's kind of nice with the car camera that we have too, the camera shooting from the car, you kind of get the whole scene. Like if the person's doing a walk and turn test, it has it all right there. So we're just taking notes for while they're doing the test and making sure it's safe for them. You know what I mean? Because of traffic, and we always try to keep it in a safe area. And we'll take the notes and then we'll put it in our reports later. Mm-hmm. You know, and if they want to check it, the reports match what we've seen, and it's all on video. So
And I was just gonna say same thing for parole and probation, right?
Yeah,
In the back of
and
their
I was
cars.
going to say, as a supervisor, I have the joy sometimes of reviewing body camera footage for OPRs, or internal investigations.
well, and even supervisors will bring this up.
Yes.
Our own supervisors, they can check any of their troopers' cameras at any time.
Yeah.
And they're required to. They'll go through it every so often during the week. They'll just pull up a few troopers' body cams and stops just to see how they are, how they're treating the public, being respectful, and if they're doing their job to make sure that there's nothing going wrong. And if there's a driving issue or there's something that they need, if it's remediation or something that they need to work on, they'll bring that to their attention. Because we're a professional department. You know, we're demanding, you know, that all of our troopers are respectful. We're all professionals, you know what I mean? And we've talked about this before. We know how to de-escalate from situations, but we also know how to handle ourselves if we have to take control of the situation.
So in handling these OPR complaints, sometimes it is quite fun to say, okay, thank you for telling me that. I'm going to go review the body camera and call you back. And I hang the phone up. And once
Do they call you back right away? Like,
well,
oh, you don't need to do that?
So I'll go review the camera. A lot of times I've actually already watched the body camera footage.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll watch it again, or they'll have words to say, well, hold on. And they'll be like, so actually, at this time in the camera, you said this, and the officer never said anything back to you. Or, you know, actually, the officer did this. I never saw what you're talking about. Is there a different angle that you have, maybe? Because it's just, people make stuff up, unfortunately. And yes, we've found things that aren't correct as well over time, right? And
No, of
we'll
course.
address
I mean,
those.
listen, you know, I mean,
But-
that's
Yeah.
one of the best things about it is that, you know, we're humans.
And I had one not too long ago, maybe a couple years ago, where I said, you do understand that everything I am looking at is on body camera footage, correct? Well, I mean, it might differ from how I remember it. Oh, will it? And then, you know, are you sure you want to proceed with your complaint? Because, I mean, quite frankly, the body camera footage can clear the officer in
Yeah,
5
a
minutes,
lot of
5
people
minutes.
don't. People forget that we have body cameras, and then they want to make stuff up. You know what I mean?
Yes.
What I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? And the good thing is, like we already said, it protects the officers and it protects the public.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's a win-win situation. I loved it, Neil, when I'm going back some time because I've been on for a little while, but my department in Omaha was probably some of the first ones to have cameras. We had VCRs in the back of our thing and taped everything. But what was so nice is, you know, we were one of the few departments across the nation that started doing cameras. We had them in the early 90s, right? And when I did drug interdiction and you're pulling out hundreds of pounds of dope and you already had them give you permission and write us, yes, you can, and all this stuff, and then you end up searching the car and then you're pulling this out. It's kind of hard for a defense attorney to say, well, I don't know what to say about you because it's all on video. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's a case winner for us, you know what I mean, as far as that, but it also protects the persons from unlawful searches or something that an officer isn't supposed to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it makes everybody honest as far as the camera goes.
does.
I like cameras. I love body cams. I like cameras. Always have.
Yeah.
It's always helped me, especially when I used to do drug interdiction. I loved it.
Yeah.
Because everything was on camera. You know what I mean?
I
So-
think
But it's a
just-
crime, right?
Yeah.
To say
False-
this person
false police
did,
report.
this right, this person did this, and they could get arrested.
They can.
They can.
It
Yeah.
would
can.
probably.
It's-
It would
It's
be,
up
it
to the
would-
department
it
if they want to do that.
Right, but so most likely it would be just don't ever do this, or like there could be some form of a fine or something of this nature.
That's
They
totally,
probably
totally
wouldn't-
out of my control. As a
But they
supervisor,
probably
right?
wouldn't end up on parole probation.
No, that think that'd be a misdemeanor. But I just had a realization in my mind. I think
Yes.
I understand
Yes, I want
why
to hear.
he knows horses so well.
Oh yes, I want to
That's
hear.
because when he started, he rode a horse.
Here we go.
Here we go.
The jokes are starting already. So
Well, Sergeant Clifton, I have something funny to show you.
What do we got?
Look this way.
That
That's probably why he drives
There
a
we go.
Mustang.
Yeah, he does.
we're gonna have to get that picture of me and Clifton up again later on.
Listen,
With me and him and the real Mustang.
That's
So
right.
he has a real Mustang.
I agree.
Yeah.
Hey.
You have to get up there with the 4 horses and the pony.
Absolutely.
With
We got to
Johnny-
do another
with,
shot.
with Johnny on the tractor racing down the road.
Racing the horses.
Right, racing the
Yeah.
horses.
Me and
Which-
him will be on horseback.
Which horse is the fastest? Do you have one horse that's the fastest?
Our fastest horse is probably gonna be Panda.
Patton. Yep.
No, Panda's he's the paint who was the shooting horse.
Oh, okay.
I made the mistake one time of giving him a really good tap and it was on. I was
Really?
Were you holding on for life?
pretty much, yeah.
Really?
I wasn't ready for him to just take off.
Yeah.
And I was
You were.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't because he was relatively new to us and I gave him kind of the same tap I gave one of our other guys and I didn't realize the level of
ready
training
to
he
go.
had. And he was just kaboom.
He was
gone.
like a little barrel racer.
Yes, yeah, he was fast, very fast.
Panda.
Panda, he's black and white, so
Okay.
yeah.
Good name.
It's a good
Good
name.
name
You know
for
what
him.
I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You never know what you're going to learn on State Police Talk. You know what I'm saying?
Some of the craziest stuff, because people got to understand, nothing is scripted here, right, Neil?
Nothing is scripted.
You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, I was thinking about this last night
Yeah.
when I was sleeping. I was like, does Sergeant Clifton have cowboy boots? Because I was expecting him to go, no, why would I have cowboy boots? Now, I would expect him to have a cowboy hat.
I would
Like-
thought,
like-
I
like,
thought for sure.
I would have
I would have
thought-
thought 100% that he had a cowboy hat.
Like at least to say, I have a cowboy hat, but I never wear it. It sits on some like glass thing or so. You know what I mean? Like it's in the barn. It's been there
You
for
don't even have
50
one.
years. You know what I'm saying? Like I expected him to be like, I have a cowboy
I might
hat.
have to
but-
buy him one
I know.
later,
This is
so
what
he
I'm
can
saying.
fit right in.
That's what I'm saying.
With his
Now, do you have a
Western style.
vest that you wear, like a cowboy vest?
No,
Okay.
No,
no.
I love it.
You never know. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Speaking of horses, Trooper Hagstrom, every time we just keep thinking that you just want to show pictures of your car off.
Well, it is a very nice car, Neil, and I really like it. And it's got 486 horse, so it's very nice. No, hey, the reason I wanted to show this photo is every time this is a school career day. This is at Somerset Aliante School over here in the Northwest. And they invited us over, and they had all kinds of stuff for kids to enjoy, all the different kinds of careers and everything. But I wanted to show that, here's Highway Patrol, but this is also Lieutenant Rosales.
Yep.
And is it Sergeant Campbell?
Yes.
Sergeant Campbell. And they're both with parole and probation. And when I go to some of these events, I want to invite parole and probation too. So the kids can kind of hear, like, I'll give my spiel what we do with the Nevada Highway Patrol. And after we make an arrest, and they might meet with the parole and probation, and they kind of give their spiel to the kids. You know what I mean? And we can kind of mold it together. So I invited them to this event. But one of the reasons I wanted to show this, Neil, was it was so cool that I got a picture with
amazing.
the Mercier, right?
Yeah, that's
They're not
amazing.
going to have that helicopter anymore. This is the last. Those are the coolest looking helicopters. I forget it's not a Sikorsky. It's some other kind of Russian
Aerospatial,
name.
maybe?
No, it's not Airbus. It starts with a K, but it's kind of like Sikorsky. I
Yeah,
can't think of the name
yeah.
of it. But now they're going to get a bigger airship for these Mercier, and they're going to be more rounded. It's a little bit bigger. I call them spaceships. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
To do their job. So this is probably going to be one of the last photos they get because they're getting ready to phase this one out. They're getting a new one here shortly. And I said, hey, why don't we put the cars and the helicopter together, and we got a cool shot. And I wanted to share that. I thought it was really cool. And then here's Sergeant Campbell and Lieutenant Rosales with parole and probation, letting the kids go through the car. You know, and we could show the kids here because we're not really showing any faces. And I got a lot of kids to try on the vest, our big rifle, bulletproof vest, and all that stuff, and have them take some pictures. But it's fun. This is one of the things that we do with Nevada State Police is we go out and get involved in community events, and it shows people that we are people too, and that we not only promote the safety part of it and explain what we do, and you know, it's fun with these kids. You know, it's amazing what kids tell you or say. You know what I mean? But you know, reminding them about 911 and making sure that their seatbelts are on when they're with mom and dad, and all this stuff is very important. But it just also shows that they don't have to be afraid of us, that they can talk to us anytime, ask us different questions, and it's just a good time for everybody to get together.
Yeah.
You know, we have to get to the kids.
Yeah.
Right? We have to do everything we can because we don't want people to be incarcerated and end up making bad choices and all this type of stuff. And so by talking with any form of the police is really a wonderful thing. We get to talk about the badge, we get to talk about all these different things. You know, parole and probation are very busy doing everything that they need to do. But one of the things that they are always doing is going out with Trooper Hagstrom to do the career fairs and these type of events so that they get an opportunity to run through the car and press the little beepy horn and get on the megaphone. You know, like, these things are very fun. And so all we need to do is get to one of those kids that might make the wrong choice in 10 years. And they go back and they go, I saw this, I remember this, I don't want to do this. This is not where I want to be in life.
Yeah.
And so, you know, working for parole and probation, you know, you've been there for a long time now. And so you started your career there.
I did.
And, you know, you could go, not to say anywhere you want, but you could go anywhere you want, especially with your rank and things of this nature. But you are in an environment that you constantly are there to help people. Even people that most people would deem as throw away the key. That's not the way that you look at it and your department looks at it. Your department still looks at it as every single person is a human, and every single person deserves us to be able to reach out, to try and rehabilitate, to make sure that they're, you know, as good as they can. And when they're not, then the law unfortunately steps in. But until that law steps in, you're able to help and do things that maybe, to say most states, but certainly most people aren't doing, but Nevada State Police does every single day.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously this is an elementary school, might be middle school, I'm not sure. But it starts with the foundation, right? Getting that friendly face, you can play with the toys, right? I actually like going to high schools quite a bit because the kids there can make decisions. And I've been approached by kids at high schools who are like, yeah, I'm on juvenile probation. Oh, because you made a bad choice, right? Because you can be on juvie probation, not with us, it's with the county, but
Juvenile probation?
juvenile probation is also juvenile parole as well, which is a state agency.
And what? So that means you committed a crime as a juvenile.
And you've been convicted as juvenile,
As a juvenile, and then you serve like in a prison?
Juvenile probation, you're going to find yourself in juvie hall.
Yeah, they don't stay long. Usually they go under supervision. Later.
Juvenile.
Depending on what it is, though.
Yes. Juvenile parole, like let's say you committed
Like he
I don't know.
stabbed you, a roommate.
Because there are people
Yeah.
that have committed murder and stuff like that. Or,
Yeah,
or
if you're a murderer, you're probably gonna get certified as an adult to be sentenced as an adult. Especially if you're 14, 15, you're probably gonna get certified, which means the court has found you to be of age essentially. But let's say you robbed a 7-Eleven when you were 13, right? Because you thought you'd impress your friends. You're probably gonna end up on juvie parole, and juvie parole is you might actually serve some time up at Spring Mountain Youth Camp, or I think it's called Three Lakes Valley. Oh yeah, Spring Mountain Youth Camp is at the top of Mount Charleston.
Yep.
It's on
I
Angel
had
Peak.
a friend that used to work there.
Yeah.
As a counselor.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you can find yourself in the situation.
and you're in handcuffs and the whole thing?
You can be, yeah.
It's a very restrictive environment for them.
Yes.
They're like they're always watched. They monitor which rooms they are. They give a lot of counseling to
Yeah.
these kids, and then they actually get them outside doing stuff, different activities.
Yep.
But the main thing is rehabilitation, and
Yes.
and that's why they put so much counseling in these kids to make sure that they're not going to be a repeat offender down the road.
Yeah,
Right.
and
And
that's
that's
our
it,
goal is rehabilitation, right? Like he hit it on the head there. You know, from the elementary school kid all the way up to adults, right? We talked before about I was walking through JFK Airport with the guy with face tats, right? That guy is still a human being. He made bad choices, sure, but we can still work with him. We can try and rehabilitate that behavior, right? But if you start with a good foundation like this, of knowing like that we're not the enemy, right? We're the good guys here, right? We're the ones trying to keep people safe. And if you're going to violate the law, you're the enemy, right? Like that's. But at the end of the day, we can still make you a better person, right?
I think it's family values. you
Yes,
know,
that too.
and education. If you have those two things and you apply yourself, you can go pretty far in life.
Yeah.
And if you want to exceed, it all comes down to hard work. Doesn't matter if you're rich or poor or whatever. If you're determined to do something, these life lessons, these are part of your life lessons that you get, whether your family is part of it. But I think family is very nurturing. You know, that plays a big part, and that's where a lot of parenting has gone wrong, right? So, and who am I? I'm not a counselor or perfect, but we can all see it. But it all starts with the family, and then getting a decent education.
Yeah.
You know, people say our public schools are terrible, but no, it's what you put into it. These teachers are not babysitters. They're there to educate your kids. They shouldn't have to be correcting your kids or having your kids in trouble. If I got in trouble at school, my parents were educators. I get my butt beat, and all the teacher had to do was call one of my parents, and you know what I mean. And I got straightened out right away because I was there to learn. You know what I mean? And if you apply that with these life lessons, you can go far. You can do whatever you want. You might not achieve the goal. I've always wanted to be a veterinarian when I was younger, right? But I couldn't do math. My parents hired tutors for algebra 3, 4, and geometry, and I just wasn't good at math. But when it came to like business mathematics, like money, I was really good. but the thing is, we sometimes we might have stepping points, but it's really what you want to do in life. And if you abide, we're a nation of laws. If you abide by the laws and you apply yourself, you can go far in life. Why would you want to screw things up and make it miserable for yourself and others? You know what I mean? So I kind of got off track. I'm talking a little bit about life lessons.
This is the perfect time to bring up this.
Yeah, you know, but it is. It's like life lessons.
Who's this
Neil.
guy?
You know what I'm saying?
Who's
I
this
mean,
guy?
hey, that's Paul Maloney, and I tell you what, he's an intense SWAT guy. I'll
He's
tell
in
you
the
that.
10th squad, and he used to do the ram thing.
Yep. They called him Ram 1 because
And-
he used to ram all the doors.
And
for,
what makes him so special?
What's that?
What makes him so special?
You know what? He was with a group of us kids that
How many?
there was 5 of us.
Right. And
4
how
of us made it in law
There you
enforcement,
go.
right?
That's what I want to hear.
But the thing is, we already kind of knew what we wanted to do.
Uh-huh.
We always stayed busy. We got all of our studies done like we were supposed to. We played sports. We were tight-knit kids. We didn't go out and cause mayhem or get in trouble. We did a lot of dangerous stuff. You know, we'd be on the back of we all had Renegade Jeeps. We'd have 3 or 4 Jeeps. We'd go over to the next schools. We'd get in fights, pick up all the girls from the other schools, you know what I mean? Hang out, and we'd be in these Jeeps rocking them and not wearing seatbelts, you know, very dangerous. I would never recommend it.
Right.
I'm surprised we're here, all the crazy stuff. We'd jump off train bridges, and when we told our parents would freak out because of course, we swam down to make sure there was no boulders, right? You know, so I mean, but we did a lot of crazy stuff as kids, but we didn't go out and damage stuff. We didn't go out and steal stuff. You know what I mean?
I
We were
do.
good kids, and we kind of had a focus of what we wanted to do in life, and it kind of turned out for us. You know what I mean? And it's all depends on what you want to do. You know, and I think just saying this to the public, it's possible for anybody. You know, it's the American dream. If you're willing to work hard enough and put your nose to the grindstone and do what you want to do, you can make it happen.
Yes.
You know that, Neil.
I do.
And
So,
even if you've made bad choices in life, you might not get to be a cop, but there's plenty of other lanes for you, right?
Absolutely.
So let's say you're very interested in parole probation, but unfortunately you have a felony, right? You're not going to get to work for us. It's the way it is. But that doesn't mean you couldn't go be a counselor. You couldn't be a life coach. You couldn't. There's so many things you could do. You can be education coach, right? You can teach someone new skills. You can still do it. You can still bring your life around full circle, and that's what we try and do. Is like we want to make you a better person, right? We want to make you have positive choices, and then if you can give back, like a really good example of that. Have you had Hope for Prisoners on the program before?
We have.
With John Ponder.
We had him and we had Lieutenant Munoz
So-
before he was the
Oh,
major.
Yeah.
Yep.
So John Ponder, right? Perfect example. He was on state and federal parole, right? He committed state crimes and federal crimes. He's turned his life around, and look what he does now.
Now they have a beautiful
Right.
building.
And not
Yeah.
only that, the parole and probation, they're there to make you succeed.
Yes.
They don't want to keep you in jail. They don't want to make it tough on you. They might have to be tough on you because the choices you make, there's consequences for every choice you make, right? But we've had, parole and probation is always on our program every time. So if people have questions or we get into different topics, they're able to explain it, right? But the thing is, they want to make sure that we've talked in the program before that you have proper housing.
Yeah.
You can get a job. They're actively helping you try to get some of the stuff. Now, they're not going to go knock on doors and say, hey, hire my guy or something. You actually have to go out there. But they're going to give you assets to go do
Yes.
that. You know what I'm saying? And every avenue to change your life around, that's what parole and probation is trying to do. They're trying to do the right thing to rehabilitate and make sure that you don't fall back into those ways. And I think we've talked about it before, the birds of a feather flock together.
Yep.
Sometimes it takes a move to get away from the people that you've always been around to get out of that environment. Whether you're a gang member or something, sometimes maybe it's better to move to a cousin that lives 5 states away. So when you get out, you're not going back in and then you get persuaded to get back into the crimes or stuff that you were doing before. So, I mean, there's always different avenues and they're always willing to work with you to better yourself.
One of my favorite things to tell offenders was, see that phone you have in front of you? Get in a number and delete every number in your phone. Because these phones, all they do is talk to each other. They text back and forth, send pictures, and all of a sudden you're back selling guns, you're back buying drugs, right? And because it's your same friends. Change
the
your
lifestyle.
surrounding, change your environment, and you'll be amazed at what happens.
Join a church.
Exactly.
Do something.
And
Yeah.
and that's something that you have so many positive stories of
Oh, yeah.
people that have come, have done horrific things, committed crimes, you know what I mean? These type of things doesn't make someone a bad person. You know what I mean? It just
Bad
means,
choices.
It just
choices,
means that
but, yeah.
maybe they can't do certain jobs or get hired in certain applications. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure if you have a felony, you know there's other jobs that you can't work at, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that, fine, take 10% away. There's still 90%. You know what I mean? Like, there's still tremendous things that people can do. And I'm sure it's the same thing with the misdemeanors.
Oh, yeah. We have some very successful people who have done some very stupid things, right? And I when I'm dealing with offenders, right, and some of your lowest level drug offenders are like, oh, I just can't find a job. And the answer is, it's not that you can't find a job, it's that you don't want to find a job.
Yeah, you don't
right?
want to work. Absolutely.
Listen, there are murderers and rapists and child molesters out there who have fantastic jobs that pay way more than I make.
Or
It's
they
just-
start their own companies. Let me give you an example.
Yes.
Yeah, landscaping. or bricklaying, when you go to hire these people,
Oh yeah.
they get, or even pest control or anything. I'm not saying that these are the people that are coming to your house, you know what I mean, like felons or whatever.
Right.
I'm just saying these are jobs that you could do at entry level where they make good money.
Yes.
They make a lot of money.
Yes.
People that own these companies, they might, especially bricklayers too,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff that you can learn. You don't have to have your, you know, a perfect background to start in certain things. I'm just throwing a few things.
Yeah.
But like you
Right.
said, there's 90% of things that you could actually do and go out and improve yourself
Mm-hmm.
on. And they're out there. You just couldn't be in law enforcement or some of the professional fields, right?
Yeah.
But there's 90% of the other stuff that you can do.
And you help them.
Yeah, I was talking with a sex offender a couple weeks ago who he was in prison and now he's out. He joined a union and is now a lineman. So he climbs power poles.
Wow, they
and
make good
does-
money.
They make.
Linemen,
I
unbelievable.
looked at his paycheck and went,
Probably
huh?
makes as much as me and you together,
Yeah,
if not
yeah.
more. Yeah.
He was making a ton of money, and I'm like,
But you know what?
okay.
Good for him.
Yes.
Good for him.
And listen, he committed a heinous crime, right? It's about choices, right? What are you going to do to better yourself? How are you going to turn yourself around? You can make a dumb choice and you can have an awesome life in front of you, right? And, you know, things like this build the foundation and make good choices.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
100%.
Absolutely.
All right, let's see what we got on this one now. All right, we did this one. Nope. You got me confused now.
Oh, the academy.
Ah, yes.
Well, Neil, yesterday we're going to have Louis next week back here at the show, but Louis, even if we tried to bring him back, he has to be back for the first day. So I called him yesterday and I said, Louis, do you have some good photos of our class? Because this is the new police academy. It just started at our building at Bermuda yesterday, right? And I said, hey, can you send me,
So
I
this
just
is
need
at
4
your.
pictures.
This is at your.
At our new building, the
New
Bermuda
building.
building. Yep,
Okay.
the Nevada State Police building where the Highway Patrol is at.
Okay.
And this is the upstairs area down here, but out in the parking lot. This is in the back of the garage area. They're all doing the push-ups.
hold on.
Yeah.
Don't go so fast.
Okay, sorry.
This is when they show up.
Yeah, well, they actually show up by their cars out in the parking lot
With a bag.
with a bag and everything. This is
in-
when they're
in a-
running back up in the
in
office.
a shirt and tie.
Yep.
I mean, I see some of the ladies in there, but I'm saying like
absolutely, yeah.
professionally dressed.
Correct.
Right? So they show up at their car,
Mm-hmm.
and then the sergeant comes over and says, "Okay, let's go upstairs."
Similar to that, yeah.
And so then they go upstairs, right? Is that Trooper Wellman? Corporal Wellman?
She's probably in there somewhere.
Maybe.
Okay.
Uh,
So they go upstairs, and now, like, this is their class, right? So
yeah, they're giving them a speech on what they want to see, what they're doing, and everything's going to be rush.
Yes.
like
And
this is it.
they're going to have to so much time to get dressed in their physical gear and all this stuff, but everything is like paramilitary. It's like
And they've given them before the class these outfits, right? Like of their
Yep.
shirt and the spiel, and so that's what they have in their bag.
well, they have to carry these bags. Yeah, they got all this change and everything, and they got a quick change and go all this stuff when they get
Okay.
ready to go.
And so then they go, okay, like I'm professionally dressed. Now I go into this other uniform that has my name and the shorts. I don't care how cold it is outside.
Nope.
I don't care that you're freezing.
Nope.
It makes no difference in my world, right? I'm nice and warm because I have my shirt and my pants and all this type of
And
stuff.
this is
right?
Corporal Wellman right there yelling
That
at
is.
somebody right
Okay.
there. That's Corporal Wellman right there.
So then you have someone over top of you going, your back's not straight. Your legs aren't touching the ground. Your hands are not straight. Right? Like,
Do you really want to be here?
do you really want to be here?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then that's Douglas. Remember
Douglas
McClarty.
McClarty.
Marty
yeah.
right there? Yep.
Okay. So he has 2 stripes now?
Oh,
He's
they
a
all do.
Corporal.
They're all
Oh,
corporals.
corporal is 2.
Sergeants have 3 stripes.
Yep.
Oh, sergeant is okay.
Yeah, all the training people are corporals.
So Officer Corporal McClarty. So he's there, and we know him to be the most docile person on the
would think.
planet. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
he is one of the most docile people on the
Quiet.
planet,
Yep.
right? And so now he's out there and he's screaming at you going, how bad do you want this? Because these people are going to be screaming at you at the top of their lungs, why are you giving me a ticket? Why did you pull me over? Why, right? And so these people went from saneness to insaneness,
The madness.
all in about 6 hours.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. And so then they start doing these push-ups, right?
All day long. All different places.
Probably right now.
And do they go in their car when they're done the day?
What do you mean as far as
Like when the day's over, they go into their car.
their
Like
personal
they,
car?
yeah.
They can leave at the end of the day.
Right, so that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yep.
So they leave,
And then they come back and start all over
and
again.
then they come back and start over the same,
Yes.
you know what I mean? But
Yeah, 26 weeks.
26 weeks. And so they go home and then they look at themselves, whether they have a family or not, and they get a personal time alone and they go, what did I sign up for?
Probably. And they're probably saying,
Right?
"Geez, I got home the first day and then I got all this homework to do too," because they probably slam them with stuff they're going to quiz them on the next day too. You never know. I don't know what all
Right,
conspires, but I can tell you what from past experience,
So
they keep on them pretty good.
So they have to go home. They may or may not have studying to do, right? Then they have to deal with their spouse and maybe the kids, maybe some horses. Like, who knows what's going on in their world,
Yeah.
right? And then they have to come back tomorrow and go,
What's going to happen tomorrow?
what's going to happen today?
The
And I have to-
expectations are higher the next day too.
Yeah.
They're expected to know how to line up. They're expected to know how to stand at attention.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
that
they're going to start marching everywhere they
Yep.
go. They're going to start learning how to march and all this stuff. Right now, they're running place to place, within single file or whatever. Next few days this week, they'll be marching everywhere.
And do
You know,
you,
so-
when you go, you're not at that office.
No.
When you go to the office, do you see them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll
And-
see them
and-
or we'll hear them. We'll hear them upstairs too.
And
Doing
now,
push-ups and all kinds of crazy
if
stuff. So.
when they see you,
Mhm.
do they have to call you something special? Do they have to do?
Usually
call,
they stand at attention and just let us stand by the wall or say
Yeah, so-
good
But
evening,
do
sir,
they?
or
But do they?
good day, sir, or whatever.
Right. But do they
Always.
call you Trooper Hagstrom?
They don't know who I am.
Okay, so they
Yeah.
they don't know that. And
Yeah.
and would they ever call you by your first name?
Oh, never.
Never.
Yeah, never.
no.
And so, let's say you see Corporal Wellman or Corporal McClarty, do they say hello to you?
The corporals?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like if you're walking by when they have the cadets there, they'll say hi to you or whatever,
Absolutely.
right? Like
Yep.
they're
Unless they're busy on somebody or something, but yeah,
they'll
they'll
just be like-
acknowledge me.
right? Okay,
But they can't acknowledge me.
they
don't have the right to
They don't
acknowledge
have
me.
the right to.
Yeah.
Now, do they call you by your first name, like Corporal
They
McClarty?
can. They can.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the people
One
that
thing about law enforcement that you always learn, Neil, and
Yeah.
you probably learned this from Metro and everybody else. Every officer calls everybody by their last name.
Yeah.
It's they never use first names.
Okay.
Once in a while, very personal. They might call you by your first name, but everybody uses last names. Have
So-
you noticed that?
Yeah,
So-
well, yeah. I like to use first names in the office with my employees.
Yeah, okay.
I would call him Sean, right?
Right.
But if we're out doing something official, he'd be Hagstrom. He would not be Sean.
Hagstrom.
Absolutely.
So Corporal McClarty sees you and he goes, "Hi, Hagstrom, how's it going?" And you just continue walking past, and you see the cadets, and are they like stone faced, like straight ahead, like do not turn your head, like
Yeah, they're focused.
like that's it.
Yeah,
like
they're focused.
like it doesn't make a difference what's going on. And if the major walked past them or whatever, they would never acknowledge.
No. Yeah, the only acknowledgement they'll get if the major's walking through and they're in the hall, they'll stand at attention on the side of it.
So-
And they'll say
yeah.
like "Good day, sir" or something like that, and they'll just walk by. But,
You're
yeah.
told that if a uniform officer or really anyone walks by, you hit the wall. So you go like this and attention and say,
Wait, what? You hit the wall.
yeah. So if you're walking in the hallway, you're turning to the side, putting your wall in the back, going to attention and say, good morning, sir, or good morning, ma'am, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you give them the hallway. They have precedence over you. As an academy cadet,
Yes.
you are the lowest of low.
But you got to think they're building you up.
Yes.
And they're going to
Right.
learn doing this. Now they're going to learn to march, do all this other stuff. It's team building.
Uh-huh.
And it's no different than a lot of our services. That's how they build. They break you down. This is a few days. They're going to be breaking them down. Well, it's going to be more than that. But
Yeah.
But what they do is they essentially break you down, and then they build you back up shortly. And then everybody they works together as a team. This is not an individual thing until you get out on your own. But you got to understand when these troopers are like family by the end of this, and when you start working together out there and you hear something happening to they're going to be there. They're going to know how you work. They're going to know your voice on the radio. It happens. You know, something happens, you can tell that something's messed up, and they'll end up helping you out. They may save your life someday, or you might save their life. So it's a big team building experience. They learn it together, and they become great friends. It's like going to college and you graduate with your frat or something, all your buddies. It's very tight, and they learn to work together, and they learn not to be individuals, but to work and get through this together. Even though they will be individual troopers or parole probation officers, but they still will have that working ability with everybody.
You never lose your academy connections.
No,
Like
no.
that you always have those friends. Like
For life, because it's an experience that no other people will ever experience. You've done some drooling 26 weeks of firearms, defensive tactics.
Yeah.
You know, learning the laws together, learning how to do diagrams of crashes. You know what I mean? You learn everything together, and those are people that you'll know the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And will they ever talk to you or you within the time that they're in the academy?
Not unless spoken to.
Yeah.
When they graduate, it'll change towards the
Right,
end.
but
or
I'm saying
whatever
like
it
when
is.
they're in the academy,
Yeah.
it doesn't make a difference. Like
No.
they are focused on what that academy is,
Mm-hmm.
not to look, there's somebody with all these stripes on his thing, or you know what I mean? Like they don't even. It's not
If they ask me, I'd tell them that and a quarter will get you nothing. So,
right.
You know what I mean? But
So
yeah,
I
but
actually-
no, they can't. Through the academy, they have to stay focused. They can't worry about what else is going on. Later on, after they get congratulated from the academy, they'll talk
Right,
to all
totally
of us. And do all
different.
that. They're totally different. Yep.
I took a class with the cadets in the last academy. It was a rifle certification class. I had never taken it, so I decided to take the rifle class. But I was just a student, right? But one of the rifle instructors, Burke, he said, "Hey, Sarge," and I saw them go. They didn't know I was a sergeant, right? And all of a sudden, the respect level went from they were saying "sir," right, to "sergeant." I didn't tell them on purpose. So I was like, I don't want you to know that, right?
Right.
But then I told them, this is day one. I was like, I'm a student here. Like, you don't.
Right.
But they're still told you have to respect them. You have to, because there were two other officers and myself in the class, and yeah, you have to respect
Because
them.
you're a sergeant.
Yeah, and which I kind of find it funny at this point in my career
Uh-huh.
to do this.
But
But
you know what? They're
going to
learn respect because you have to respect the public that's out there on the road that
Yes.
you're dealing with.
Right.
Whether it might be their worst day of their life, getting this crash, or they feel it is. You know what I mean? That you're going to deal with those emotions, and you're going to have to learn how to speak with those people, be respectful, and be a good listener. Because, you know, there's a lot of people don't listen, right? And we can learn a lot by keeping our mouth shut and learning and listening. It goes a lot farther.
Yes.
These officers that I watch on the weekend, every single one of them has been screamed at, like you know what I mean, like to the point that like I'm watching this show and I'm like, how is this person's blood not just boiling to like you know what I mean? But
That's
but
why officers don't live as long,
But
you
the
know?
thing is that they are so respectful. You know what I'm saying? That like, you know what I mean? Like these guys are like kicking and punching and they're like, look, this isn't what we need to be doing right now. You know what I'm saying? And so to see the class here in the beginning, you know what I'm saying?
I'm on break. Maybe we can do that. as we go
Bring all
along,
the cadets here.
I might get some more photos. Like maybe when they
Yeah.
go to the rifle range, or maybe
Yeah.
DTs. I'll maybe we can do some updates
I would
of how
love
the
it.
class. Would that be kind of
I-
cool?
I would
kind of
love
like
it.
our Southern Nevada Task Force.
I
Kinda
would
cool.
love it
Yeah.
because the thing is that we need more troopers. We need more parole and probation officers, right? But we have to only have the best. And so, like, like your first question, which I don't know if it came from that or whatever, but what do you want to be here? Like, listen, let me tell you something. Like, do you want to be here? Like Louis says all the time. Excuse me. They know in the first 15 minutes if you want to be here. Like, it's not rocket science. You know what I'm saying? Some people might be on the fence, and they have to get them to understand that this is the way to do it. And there's some people that are gung-ho, and there's some people that aren't. But the thing is that all of these people here have passed the background investigation, have passed the polygraph, have passed a written test, have passed a physical fitness test, have gone through 6 months of, I don't know if it's hell, but certainly of up in the airness, like, are they going to accept me or not? I've done everything that I can do. Is there something that I missed? Did, my friend Joey growing up say that I, hit him in the head with a baseball? I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who knows what happens, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is that they have all done this. So they all deserve the respect that they are. And one of the things that I see here, and then we'll go on to the next thing, is that there are older people, there are younger people, there are women, there are men, there are big people, there are short people, you know what I mean? So, like, just because you look or are different than everyone else doesn't mean you still not only can't apply, but that you still can't get accepted, because every single one of these people can be a parole and probation officer or a trooper, or they wouldn't be there,
Absolutely. Yeah.
right? And so it's just a matter of how many are going to be able to stay there.
Do they have what it takes?
Do
to
they
make
have
it?
what it takes?
Absolutely.
And so
We will give you all the education you need. We will teach you everything you need to know. It's how much you apply yourself, how much you're willing to put into it.
How much heart that
How
you
much
have
heart
to
you have.
continue to get this done.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's nothing we will not give you. We will give you all the training you need.
And we want you to succeed. We're
Yes.
not there to fail you. But on the other hand, if you're one of those that think you're just going to slide through, or let's say it's you're not really making the cut, we have to cut you, because how are you going to be out there on the road when something goes bad?
Yep.
Are you gonna tuck tail and leave your other officers when things go bad, or are you going to be the one running to the danger and protecting and saving people?
Yeah.
And that's the type of people
And
that we need.
and even if you're day one out of the academy in FTO, I still expect you to save my life if I need it. I still expect you to have my back if I need it, and vice versa, right?
Absolutely.
We don't want cadets who are bottom of the barrel, who barely squeaked by, failed 3 or 4 tests, and we had to get.
And we're not
going
gonna
to
take those
We're not going
anyways,
to take them anyway. But
yeah.
point being, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I expect you, as Sean would expect me to have his back. I expect
Mm-hmm.
him to have my back, and I expect these cadets to have our backs as well. If I'm on the radio saying I need help, I want you there now, right? I don't want the guy who's like, well, I'll get there in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Nah, I need you there now, right? That you have to have the right attitude, the right mindset, and that's why I said we'll give you what you need. It is about what you have inside of you to make it happen.
Yeah. Well, it's fantastic. I would love to hear a video of
We
of,
have
of,
some.
of Corporal McClarty yelling at someone.
And you know,
Okay,
I'm gonna
not,
do a
not
little
even,
request.
not even. I don't even want to see the person. I just want to see him yell, and I would love to see Corporal Wellman yell. I just want to see, like, just to be like, "Are you good enough?" Like, holy smokes! Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because we know her, like we know Sergeant Clifton. It'd be like all of a sudden Sergeant Clifton is going to go teach a class of the cadets. Like, I know him with his ranch and his horses.
And
All of
his
a sudden,
kids.
he's gonna put on a hat and start screaming at people. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, totally different. Well, I'll see if I can make that happen.
Totally different, but
Totally different.
yes, congratulations to them, Sergeant Clifton.
Yeah.
Right, Trooper,
Absolutely.
Ragstrom, and
We're excited to have them, and,
Yeah.
and you know what? They're going to be around for the next
is this
26 weeks.
this is the first class
is-
at the new
At the no, not the first class.
Second
Nope,
class.
second class at the new.
So this just started yesterday. Today's the second day, so we'll see how it goes. 26 weeks.
Are you allowed to disclose how many people are here?
Yeah, but I don't have the numbers for you. I'll get
Okay.
it for you
I
next
think
week.
it, I think it
I'm
was
just- I'm- my-
24.
I just my question really is, what is the percentage usually of people that will pass?
Usually it's been pretty high.
It's been pretty. We were.
You
we
know,
were
we might
talking-
lose one or two, but
oh, so like
usually it's
80,
pretty high.
90% or something
Yeah,
like that?
usually in the past it never used to be like that.
Yeah,
But now, you know, I'm pretty sure that maybe we might lose one or two, but it's not from them not doing this. It's some extra backgrounds that come back
that can happen.
that they didn't disclose, and that will get you gone.
So we were talking before we went on camera today about our academies. He was 40,
49.
49. I was 66. This is 107. Okay, but my class started at 46 people.
But give them the date though.
Okay, 2012.
Okay, mine was in 2002 when I did a lateral academy coming across. I started in
Lateral
93.
right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you got to think, I was at 49. We never really had the hiring.
No.
Think of, you know, because he is 2012, he's only 66. So there
Yeah.
wasn't as many, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Kind of a
people.
lag.
Yeah. We've really ramped up our academies in the last 10 years. But so we started 46 people and graduated 26. We lost.
So you
people-
lost 40%.
We lost 3 people day one to failing the entrance physical fitness test. That's not an us problem. That's a them problem, right? So I think we as an agency have done better with
Preparing them.
preparing them.
Yep.
A lot of these cadets have started with our agencies before we actually send them to the academy, which I did too. I started with the agency before I went to the academy. And I can see some of those faces on there that I recognize from our building, that we were able to hire them.
Oh, I see.
We were able to hire them, start paying them before they go to the academy, right? So they can start learning. And so they know, hey, on day one, you're going to do 800 push-ups. Have a nice day.
Yeah,
And-
not only that, a lot of these, there's a few of these guys that are in there that were at our front office
Yep.
doing hit and run crash reports
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, helping the arrest desk, you know, learning familiar stuff with paperwork that they do every day.
Now, let me ask you this:
And they're getting paid prior to
Yeah.
going.
do they have like a star of the class, like a person who does more push-ups
do.
or like
Yeah.
someone
There's
like-
physical fitness awards. There's
like
skills
somebody
awards.
that exceeds.
And they one trooper gets an overall
Yeah.
with his scores, the, you know, combination with not only physical fitness but with his rifle, pistol scores, everything. There's
Corporal's award.
how would you say is it called corporal
Yeah.
award? But he's like the overall trooper of that group.
and
Or
do they
officer.
do they have a cap?
Officer, yeah.
Do they have a captain of the group? The captain of a class?
That changes usually weekly. So there's the academy leader, as it was called.
That's what I
in
mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like-
Not
And
not somebody who works for Nevada State Police, like somebody in the class that is like
Yeah.
the
so
class
the-
the class leader.
the corporals will generally choose who the class leader is. So when I was made class leader,
Oh.
my corporal walked into the classroom, and when the corporal walks in, everyone has to stand up at attention, right? And she says, "Cadet Clifton to my office," and I was like, what did I do? Right, and then she calls me in, and she's
And
like,
were you laughing and joking at this time too? Were you
no.
still there? No. Okay.
no.
Okay.
With the cadets, other cadets, yes, but not with the corporal, obviously.
Right.
And I sit down in her office and I'm like, "Yes, ma'am." And she was like, "You're academy leader next week. Here's your responsibilities." She gives me a piece of paper with my responsibilities on it, right? And I was kind of terrified because I'm just get called into the office for something I
Right.
don't even know what I did, right?
And are you blown away? That,
Well-
like they wanted you to do that?
Well, everyone gets a chance. Because when you have a 26-week academy, if you have 26 cadets, everybody's going to get a chance at it,
Everybody
right?
gets a chance. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so generally speaking, everyone got a chance. In our academy, not everyone did because we graduated 26, yes, but we had started 46 people failed out through the academy. So not everyone got to do it, but I most certainly did. And you're responsible from everything from getting people there on time to knowing their whereabouts to even getting timesheets correct. because we have to submit our timesheets online. As a cadet, if it's not correct, guess who's doing push-ups? Everybody.
Yep. But,
So-
but it's a tool. They're learning
Yes.
what you can or cannot
So
do.
if the one cadet
Every pay
doesn't-
pays. Yep.
Everybody pays.
It's like the Marine Corps.
Yep.
One person screws up, your entire
Yes.
squad
Uh-huh.
pays.
They call it getting smoked.
Or
and that-
platoon, or your platoon, your whole platoon, not
Yeah.
not the battalion, but your whole platoon.
getting
Yeah.
smoked.
One guy screws up, you
That's what
all
it's-
pay.
That's
You
what
all
it's called, getting smoked. Push-ups, sit-ups, running.
Yep.
They do a lot of things. Burpees. you
Bends
name
and
it.
thrusts.
And,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and let me ask you this before we, does the major ever come out there?
Once in a while, he'll
yeah.
come out
But
and check it
when
out.
and when he comes out there, and they're working, does he sit there? He would never say like have them do this or whatever.
No.
Right.
He,
But he would just
might
like-
just walk through it briefly and say he really doesn't say anything or stop. He lets training do training.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
He's too busy to worry
Now,
about stuff.
I will say in my academy, we actually had the major of the Highway Patrol up north. No, I'm sorry, it was the colonel. We had the Highway Patrol colonel teach a couple of classes. And then also, maybe the most ridiculous thing we did is he was really big into hot yoga. And he booked an entire hot yoga studio for all of the cadets to go to Reno and do this hot yoga
Really?
class. So I did hot yoga with the Highway Patrol colonel as one of his wellness classes for in my academy.
That's something new. Never heard of that.
Well, it's old now. It's
Yeah.
Well, this is very interesting to me. I wish them the best of luck, and I still would like to see them yell at somebody.
Yeah, we'll
can't-
keep you in tune.
I
on
can't
that.
imagine Corporal McClarty yelling at somebody.
I
Me
think
either.
we need to get Corporal McClarty in here in
We-
his
we-
uniform and his hat on.
We should.
Give us a
I
demonstration.
thought
Give
about-
us a demonstration.
I
He can
thought
yell at
about
Johnny.
doing that, but during this time they're not going to be.
Yeah, they're
able
not
to
going to do
do
it right now,
Yeah.
but
But maybe after the academy class, we
Right.
can get 'em in.
We would like that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? All right. This has nothing to do with horses.
No.
Okay. This has to do with automobiles.
Yeah. So this is Sean's safety tips for the week,
Yes.
and it's turn signals. And how many times have you been on many lane highways and people just cut in front of you?
All
I
the
call
time.
them unsafe lane changes.
yes.
And the turn signals on your vehicle are not put on your car for aesthetics or they look beautiful. They're there for a reason. And if you're in a residential area or business area, you're required 100 feet prior to turn your signal on to let them know if you're going to be making a right-hand turn before the next turn. Or even on the interstate, in highways, you're required 300 feet to turn on that turn signal to let people know all around you which lane you're going to get in, whether you're passing a car or not. Here in the valley, that was one of my pet peeves when I was a trooper working in the valley, was turn signals. I'd let you do twice where you didn't use it, you know what I mean? And then after the third time, I'd have to have a talk with you. But usually they're speeding too. They're in and out, you know what I mean, doing crazy stuff. But I just want to be mindful to people that it is an unsafe lane change when you start making these abrupt changes and you're not using your turn signal. Now you're almost looking at 2 infractions, you know what I mean, for not using turn signal and unsafe lane changes. That's what causes some of the crashes in our valley. What's nice about a lot of the new cars that come out, they do have those mirrors and they'll light up yellow to let you know that somebody's next to them. But when you make that put your turn signal in, always look towards the rear of your car and see if there's another car there. A lot of times we have blind spots, and I think
Yes.
that's why the new car companies have put these mirrors in with the yellow to let you know, because how many times have you gone in a lane? I've done it numerous times, and I ain't gonna lie, that I start pulling in a lane and I got honked at or something, and I never seen the car.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
So one of the things I want to tell the public out there is when you're driving your car, put your rear view mirrors out farther out. So when you're looking at your rear view mirror, you shouldn't see the side of your car. You should see very, very little of your side of your car, but move it farther out, and then you can see the cars in the next lane a lot easier. If you got your mirrors tilted in more, you're only going to see the car, mostly your car, and you might catch a glimpse of a vehicle there. So always bring your mirrors out a little bit more. And I'm talking the inner mirrors. I'm not talking people to physically move their mirrors. I just got to tell them that, you know what I mean? Because there's somebody going to be like, what are they talking about?
I need to move my physical mirror out.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But the mirrors, you got the little, some of them are electronic, or even if you have to hand it, just move it out a little bit more so you can actually see the roadways instead of the side of your car.
In your car, do you have it where you you hit the turn signal and it doesn't do like a full like it just does 3 things?
No, mine does it like dun 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 dun. It keeps it going, and you can hear it. One
Like
other
in my car,
Uh-huh.
I click it and it does 3 quick, unless I hold it in because it's for if you go on a freeway or something and you're just trying to pass like.
Well, that's more of an Italian thing, I think. I don't know.
So you have to actually move the turn signal up. You can't
Yeah,
just
we
bump
can't
it.
we
You gotta
can't drive
move
like
it.
the Autobahn out here, but you know.
know.
But no, a lot of the cars too, even with those mirror indicators,
Yeah.
letting you know that a car's there. A lot of the cars come with the blinkers. You can see it on your mirror now too. You know, I know even the European cars like Mercedes, what's really nice, they have it on the outer mirror where you can see the actual your blinkers going on, so that you know you're turning your turn signal on, which is nice.
Yes.
And it also alerts people right next to you. So let's say you're sharing, you're actually in this lane. There's a middle lane. It's not you're going to go that middle lane. There's another car here. When you put that blinker on, it's nice that it's showing the other vehicle on the side that you're actually going to be turning into that lane. Our cars are, the technology and the safety is getting a lot better, but we have to be mindful that we have to signal ahead to let people know. I put something like this car right here. If you don't use your turn signal right away, and I mean you do it too
I
soon,
hate this when they
Yeah,
don't put the turn signal.
and they pass you and they go to the next one.
Yes, it
That-
makes me nuts.
It does, and people got to learn when to use your turn signal. If the lane's coming up, use that 100 feet with you're in the business district or whatever, and let them know that, hey, I'm gonna make a right hand turn here. Don't wait until you go to the next lane
Makes
and
me
people,
nuts.
because then people might pull out because they think you're going to pull in that left
I
lane,
agree.
and now you got to crash, right? So we got to learn how to use our turn signals effectively, and especially with out on the interstates here, we got a lot of traffic. Let people know where you're going ahead of time. Just don't pull in front of people. That causes crashes or people to slow up, and then you got crashes behind because you make I'm going to say a stupid turn. An unsafe lane change, you know what I mean, which could cost you another ticket if you got caught doing it. I just want people to be mindful and start using their turn signals out there. And unsafe lane changes, make sure that you got enough room when you start, even if you do use your turn signal, make sure you got enough room to pull ahead of that vehicle. A lot of times you know that you're a length or 2 in front of that vehicle, but don't make that where they have to actually start hitting the brakes. So
Where you live, you have to take a freeway,
I do.
and then you get onto a road that is not like a freeway. And so it's a much smaller road than most people are used to.
Yes.
And so when you're traveling that road, people have to be very mindful because you don't have 2 lanes and 2 lanes. And if somebody is doing something, a car might have to veer off the road into a dirt.
It happens.
You know what I mean? And so not only in the rural area, or not the rural, the business area, like a regular road,
Yeah.
right? You might have 2 lanes where you can move over or something like that. And so people travel on roads in Nevada that are 2 lanes, that are 2 lanes total, 2 lanes on each side. And so people have to be very mindful of the turn signals.
Yes.
Because there can be a lot of different things in the roads, especially up by where you live.
Oh yeah.
And as well, when there's 2 lanes on each side, and people are turning into the business district, these things make a difference.
the vast majority of highways in the state of Nevada are not interstate freeways. They're highways at that. Running north, south, east, and west. And on a highway, there is no controlled access like there is on a freeway. There's no exits. There's no exit signs. It's literally a right-hand turn with a street sign at best. And there can be dirt roads. And that's something that happens quite a bit is if you're not paying attention and you're driving along and someone turns a signal on, you're sitting there on your phone, something like that, they're turning off on that side street, they're going to run right into you.
Well, that's part of being distracted driving and paying attention.
Yes.
And one thing also I wanted to add too, when using your turn signals, always look at the lane lines. You know, if you got white broken lines, you're allowed to pass on that.
Yes.
But if you got a double white lines or a yellow, you got a solid yellow and the other one has the broken yellow, they can pass, but you can't, then there's no sense using your turn signals or even passing because you got to pay attention to the road. And it's all about learning the roadways and avoid like distracted driving, like you said, because you always got to pay attention. I mean, and the road lines will tell you, you know, when you get close to these curves and everything, you're going to go to double lines every time because there's no passing.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be putting on turn signals and trying to pass somebody on a corner or something like that, or a curve. So people need to be mindful, even though we're trying to tell people, hey, start using turn signals. There's a lot of other things that go into it. You know, you got to watch the road lines, and pay attention to the signs in the area. Because like he said, you might be on a freeway, like where he lives, and there's a small dirt road, and they might turn off right there.
I was never even thinking about that.
Yeah, and then speed plays a factor. Are you speeding up behind him, and then all of a sudden you're not paying attention, and he's got to get home. He takes a ride he wants to take a ride on the dirt road, and all of a sudden you impact him on the roadway.
I've seen it happen
So-
in the area I live. It's almost happened to me too, where I'm pulling a horse trailer, right, and horse trailers are very heavy.
Yeah.
With 3 horses in mine, you're talking almost 9,000 pounds, right? And I signal way before when I got to turn because I got to slow down a lot. And I'm slowing down easily 1,000 feet before I'm getting to my turn, right? And people just don't pay attention. They want to pass. Where I turn is a no passing zone, and people still pass me right there, right? When I'm turning, which is not legal and also not safe.
And
for that
somebody
matter.
could be coming out of the other lane
Yes.
because they know he's going to make a turn, right? And he might have to take an extra turn into their lane because of the length of his trailer, right?
Right.
So, and what people don't understand is when that person, that's why these lane lines are so important too, is he's going to make a right-hand turn onto this dirt road, right? There's another person knows that he's turning. It's free on his side. He pulls out. Guess what? You go to pass him. There's a car right there. What are you going to do? And you're in the wrong because on the roadway it tells you no passing.
Yeah.
And there's probably a sign that says no passing. So we have people do that all the time. They get impatient. They got to learn, to slow down, pay attention to the roads, and be mindful to others. Don't get in a hurry. You know what I mean? You're going to get past this vehicle, and we just want everybody to be safe out there. And that's one of the reasons that we do these safety tips on Neil's every week.
Every week.
is to explain something different to everybody because sometimes people just need to hear it.
Yep.
And they can remember that maybe down the road. Hey, I saw that on Neil's, and
Yeah,
hey,
and,
I'm gonna start
I'm
signaling
not
right.
doing that. You know
You
what I'm
know?
saying?
So absolutely.
Do you pick up the pony and drive the pony by himself in the trailer?
We did this time, yes.
It's throw him in a pickup truck.
Yeah, she fit in the horse trailer, yeah.
So do you have more than one horse trailer?
No, this is one, yeah.
Just one horse trailer. And the pony, and how many stalls are in there?
I can fit 4 horses.
4
So,
horses.
but now I have 5, so we're gonna see about.
So does is the pony go into a certain stall?
No, she fits in any of them. So it looks kind of stupid because like you have a horse trailer has windows on the side, and generally the horses can stick their nose out of the window, and then they
I've seen that.
please, if you're driving a horse trailer with the horse, and keep the grade up so the horse can't stick the whole head out, but they can stick their nose out and sniff. She can't reach the window. So she's standing there, and there's dividers inside. You close the divider, and so they can't wobble too much. But yeah,
But they're not tied down.
they have a very loose line on their halter.
They think they are tied.
Yes.
But the way we tie horses is you never want to tie a horse up to anything.
Correct.
Because if a horse gets spooked and panic, they can veer up, break their neck.
Yep.
and all this stuff. So what we do is we'll loop up the. I can't believe I'm talking about this on Nevada State Police Talk.
Yes, tell me all about this.
But
we have a new show. It's called Horse Talk.
Yeah, we'll loop up the reins, or not reins, but the lead
rope, yeah.
lead rope, and we'll put it together there, and it'll be like a giant loop. And what you can do is you can just pull it, and it comes loose.
Yeah.
So, but the horse himself thinks he's tied up, so he doesn't fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the reason we do it, because if a horse does panic, we want to make sure that if they pull hard enough, it's going to come loose, because,
Yeah.
like I said, they could break their neck, they could do a lot of damage. I've always had somebody tell me when I had a horse, I did the dumbest thing. I had a youngster who was a little over a year and a half old, good sized horse. He was
You
all
walk
black.
behind it.
No, I tied him up to my truck.
Oh.
Stupid. You never do that with cattle either. And a tractor was coming down a side road from the farm and spooked my horse, and he panicked and caved in the side of my nice truck, and because he's stuck, and that's why you never want to tie him to cars or other stuff like that, because they panic, they'll damage everything. Pushed in my whole doors, all that stuff. It was a life lesson, but I was told not to do that, and I did it anyways.
Yes.
Thinking that, it's quiet out here, everything's good.
Nobody's
It's that
gonna bother you.
One time, and
Lesson learned.
Did the kids go on the pony?
Not yet.
Did you? You didn't put them on
Not yet, no.
and just like hold them on there.
Eventually, when they're a little older, probably.
Do you ride the horses bareback?
I don't. I mean, I
Your
have.
wife does?
But she has to, yeah. We generally use saddles just because it's safer, but yeah, we can.
You steer with the reins.
Or the hair.
Yeah, the hair. Okay. These are great questions.
Yeah.
Who else? Who else is going to ask you guys about horses? You know what I'm saying? Look,
Good
it's
horse
so
people.
exciting that they broke the thing. All right. The director, his dog, his picture. Here's the thing. You can have a life outside of Nevada State Police. You can laugh, you can joke, you can raise a family, you can start a family, you can do all these wonderful things. But it starts with a phone call. It's like the Nevada Donor Network starts with a conversation.
Absolutely.
They don't want to convince you to do anything. They don't want to make you do anything. All they want to do is have a conversation. And from that conversation, the Nevada Donor Network that we love says this is what can be done if it is that you so choose. If you so choose not, fantastic. And if you so choose, fantastic. We're here to have a conversation. Nevada State Police is not easy. You sort of hit on the fact of a fraternity, right? Nevada State Police is for your life if you so choose. And you can have a wonderful life. It's not going to be easy. You may have to deal with things that you don't want to deal with. You may have to be woken up in the morning. You may have to deal with people that maybe you don't want to deal with, but you have to deal with. Like all these different various things. But the thing is that Nevada State Police is hiring for all these different things.
Absolutely.
And so there is a way that someone can join Nevada State Police and go and hang out with you.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? There's a way that someone can go and hang out with you. Maybe not for the 26 weeks, right? But after the 26 weeks is over and after they're Nevada State Police, you
become part of our family.
There's a way to have a conversation and go, I saw you on Trooper Talk and you talked about all these funny things. I'd like to laugh and joke with you, and you go, okay, well, I'm here to do that.
Sure.
And so, what is this?
Absolutely. And this is part of our recruiting, part of a section for Neil's show here. But you know what? I always go back to our department is like family. You know what I mean? Even though we are a big organization, we have different divisions and everything, everybody works together for a good cause of everybody in the Las Vegas Valley and across this great state of Nevada. We want to ensure safety within our communities. This is something that our kids go to the same schools. We use the same highways. We go to the same grocery stores. We do everything like everybody else. We're not like robots. We try to, the reason we come on Neil's show here is also to dehumanize the badge. To show that we're people too, Neil, right? And that
very
we
important.
really care about our community. Because you know what? It takes a certain type of person to do this job that really cares about their community and wants to make a difference. And a difference for everybody, not just for themselves, but everybody as a whole. And somebody looking to be like a state trooper, you got to remember this badge is not something that's given. It's something that is earned. And once you earn that badge, you have it for life. As long as you do the proper things that you were taught and being respectful and abiding by the law like everybody else, this will get you a retirement. This will get you respect from, I would call them like comrades, our fraternity, our type of fraternity there of people. But we also have like, which we'll probably talk about in the future, our legacy luncheons. You know, retirees coming back, talking to these young groups, telling them all the kind of stories that they used to have.
Yep.
There's so many great things that you can do within Nevada State Police, and not only with the Highway Patrol, we have parole and probation.
Yep.
We got Capitol Police, Division of Investigation, State Fire Marshal, Governor's Detail. So all this combined, there's all different types of jobs. And we want people that are looking for a career, a new change, whether you're in the military, thinking about getting out, making a difference, or if you're from another state and want to lateral in or live in the rurals, we're looking for certain people that want to be the pride of Nevada, the best of the best. So if you feel that you're one of those persons that want to do this, go to nevadastatepolice.com, and we would love to have you be part of our team.
Sergeant Clifton, you know, it's not easy to be part of the parole and probation.
No.
You are going to deal with things differently than the troopers who might only have interaction for 30 minutes to 3 hours. You know, you might see someone for 5 years or 10 years or, you know what I mean, 5 months. I mean, you know, all these different things. And so your job is not easy. But the difference is that there's a lot of great perks that you get that are all 100% legal, and there's no funny business and all this, but you get a lot of things that a lot of people don't have. And so to be able to work for the parole and probation department is wonderful, and it can provide all of these things that 14 years ago, I'm sure you saw yourself of where you wanted to be, but you're accomplishing those things with your wife and the kids and the farm and all this type of stuff that you wanted to accomplish.
Yep.
And so parole and probation has provided that. Nevada State Police has provided that. And so it's a wonderful organization for someone who's looking at this and going, maybe I want to do this, maybe I don't, but watching this show sort of pushes me over the edge.
Yeah, absolutely, especially for your people who are very family oriented, right? We have a lot of flexibility in what we do. We can work with you. Highway Patrol, you're on the shift work. That shift work is shift work, right? With us, you know, we can maneuver a little better. If childcare is an issue, if it's going to be, I got to pick my kid up from school, like we can work around those things. We can make it work. That's the way we operate. I can choose to work 5 8-hour days. I can choose 4 10-hour days, right? Like I can choose which day I have off, Monday or Friday. I can do Wednesday off if I want to. It's all, you work it out with your sergeant. As long as your work is getting done and you're working 40 hours in a week, we're good, right? You can work swing shifts. You can work day shifts. It's all there. Still get a take-home car. You still get drive time, right? Huge things, right? Metro doesn't get that. Henderson doesn't get that. School police doesn't get that, right? We have those benefits for a reason. It's because we're a great agency to work for, right? So is Highway Patrol. As state police in general, fantastic work. You know, you find yourself with the specialty units, I like to call them, like Capitol Police, Fire Marshal, NDI. There's even more benefits, right? There's also some downsides. You're subject to call out at Fire Marshal, subject to call out with NDI, but right, it is a very rewarding career. Absolutely. And if you find yourself at the Dignitary Protection, the Governor's Detail, you'll meet a lot of powerful people.
Yep,
You'll
absolutely.
go a lot of cool places, right? That's maybe not for the family guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Takes
But-
a lot out of you.
Takes a lot out of you. He can attest to it, right? But you're going to find yourself in some really cool situations and really cool places. Our parole and probation officers have actually assisted dignitary protection before. I think it was 2 years ago we had the governor's conference, the
National Governor's Fund.
National, yes, and we had probably 15 P&P officers out there protecting governors as part of an add-in to their detail, because their details come too, right? But you have to have a local guy in too. So we got our local guys helping the dignitary protection units
Visiting
from
governors and
visiting
dignitaries.
governors, yeah, and that happens too, right? So we even cross divisions sometimes, right? I've driven patrol cars, not like that one, but I've driven patrol cars, right, at Electric Daisy Carnival. I've taken NHP cars out, and we'll cross divisions. It's a really cool thing. So many opportunities that we have.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. 3 hours.
Wow.
Was it really 3 hours?
3 hours and 25 minutes.
No.
Oh my gosh, Neil.
What do you think of that,
11:19.
Johnny?
No wonder I had the.
It's what happens when you've been in the since class 1942 or whatever. it is.
That's right. Yeah, break it down.
Listen, both of you, thank you very much. You know what I
you.
mean? I appreciate it very much, and I know everybody that's watching does. And I love all these segments, but I love that beginning segment because people don't get a chance to see you guys and laugh with you and say, do you have square boots or do you have pointy boots? Like, who would ask?
There you go. Like,
Who would ask Sergeant
I thought
Clifton
this
that?
was a
You know what I'm
police
saying?
show. I thought this was a police show. They're talking about horses. and
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Who would know? You know what I'm saying? Who would know that Sergeant Clifton just got a pony? You know
And
what
he
I mean?
doesn't have a cowboy hat.
And doesn't own a cowboy hat.
That's right.
We're getting him one of those guys.
We are.
We're gonna get him one like your trooper hat that has a little thing on the back that he can. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
He can be Trooper Clifton.
There you go.
Gentlemen, thanks a lot for coming in and hanging out.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.
man.
Yeah,
It
thanks for
means so
having us.
much. You know
It
what I'm
means
saying?
a lot to us too. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Neil.
All right, 3 hours and 30 minutes. Okay, make sure you watch the whole thing. All right. All right. See you guys later.